Exactly.
It is.
And we know now in this modern day, many people have service dogs.
Yes.
And other pets and so forth, just for comfort. And many elderly people also have dogs that are well trained.
Blind, if you have the eye,
for that
eye
affection
impairment.
as well as loyalty.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, dogs also look out for you.
They do.
If there's a coming car, they start barking. They have a good sense
A
and
leaf?
care. Yeah, exactly. It's awesome. So everyone should actually have a dog, perhaps, right?
Got to get one.
So, folks, we'll be right back. You're watching First Edition only on Newsmax 2.
It used to be common. Our newscasters had common sense. They gave it to you straight, just the facts, and real news. John Bachman is like them. He tells it like it is. Catch him every weekday on Newsmax 2.
Is your shower trying to tell you something? Is getting in and out of the bathtub becoming a safety concern? Are you worried about the cost of a bathroom remodel that could go on for weeks and weeks? Well, now you can have a gorgeous new bath or shower with a one-day jacuzzi bath remodel that's safer at a price you can afford. We're waiving all installation costs and postponing all payments for up to 1 year.
Oh my gosh. It is beautiful. Oh.
From soft close shower doors and adjustable shower heads to features like grab bars and custom seats that combine safety and style, it's never been easier. Get your free design consultation, schedule your one-day installation, and start loving your new bath or shower right away.
Call or go online right now. We're waiving all installation costs and offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-991-2603. Call now.
Hi folks, we're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
I'm Rhonda Swan, and welcome to today's Wall Street Minute. Today, we're walking down Wall Street with entrepreneur and founder of DMR Society, Danielle Ribeiro. Danielle, you're an expert in inner work and success. How do the two of them go hand in hand in the work that you do?
If you have challenges and issues and a low vibration, then that's what you're going to see in your external reality. It's just the law. And when you start to work on those issues, those really challenging, deep wounds and trauma bonds that you've had your entire life, and subconsciously, you start to bring in all the things that you truly desire. But you can't do that until you release things that no longer serve you. It takes time. It takes work. It's just a matter of believing.
And thank you for joining us on Wall Street Minute.
So John just informed me he bought his lotto tickets. Jackpot, $815 million.
Yeah, which means I should be able to take home about $450.
It'd be half, right?
At least. At least half. That's where you start with the government.
At least. But don't tell anyone.
You know what?
Don't tell anyone.
Come on, Deneen. If I win an $815 million jackpot,
yeah.
When I walk in there with the ticket, with my lawyers.
Sign here. Deneen, you get.
With my lawyers, my accountant, all my financial people.
You'll need all of
it's going to be a press conference and so forth. They'll ask me questions and things of that nature.
Party for your friends?
Yeah, so,
right?
Well, before we get to partying, we got to figure out how we actually give it away, right? Because I'll be, start my own think tank.
Welcome home to the Dove TV, encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us. All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Situation Room.
What's the situation today?
Yeah, so we'll just kind of situate and see what happens.
Okay.
All right, and Jerry's here, so that means...
that could be the situation.
That could be the situation. Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. We are enjoying a little bit cooler.
Just It's starting to inch back down.
It's reached the peak and it's coming down the other side. The fire in Central Oregon is they're slowly getting a handle on it, but still very only about 5% contained. But they are protecting a lot of homes out there. It's a big fire. Some of that smoke in our area is from that. What else can I say? It is almost the end of August, which is hard to believe. School starts en masse next week. Teachers are moaning and groaning. They're grinding themselves back to work this week, getting the classrooms ready.
Days are getting shorter. It's dark out there.
And you got Labor Day weekend coming up.
Yeah.
And we have a special session going on in Oregon on Friday. And I have to say this.
What?
I have to say that the pushback is fairly significant.
Good.
And so this thing could be an embarrassment for the governor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people are coming down on us pretty hard, and they should. Right. It's all about raising taxes. I mean, you know what? I saw the full list of taxes yesterday.
Oh.
It's unreal.
Really?
It's just unreal. Why? Anyway, don't get me. It's too early for that. Hey, happy Tuesday. What do we got going today?
The Situation Room.
The Situation Room.
Well, it is National Women's Equality Day, and it's because the United States Congress passed the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, granting women full and equal voting rights on this day in 1920.
Okay.
It's later than I would have thought, actually. So anyway, exercise your right to vote. Remember that one. National Webmistress Day, again with women in mind today. It's Ladies' Day.
Yeah.
National Webmistress Day recognizes women in web development.
Oh.
And then we move on to, man's best friend. It's National Dog Day.
Really?
Encouraging dog ownership of all breeds.
Yes.
While seeking a new companion, be sure to consider the mutts, mixes, purebreds, and anything in between. So there you go.
I call it AKC neighborhood. It's a new breed.
Yeah, get your dog spay or neutered.
Yeah.
Oh, by all means.
Yeah,
okay.
do that, yeah.
It's also National Cherry Popsicle Day.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's the only thing we have to eat, and it's still hot enough to enjoy a cherry popsicle. But popsicle is one of those names. It's kind of like Kleenex. It's a brand name, but it gets applied to everything.
Right.
So, again, the name of a frozen juice concoction on a stick. However, it is so common, many people use popsicle for all frozen juice pops. So whatever you are eating and calling it popsicle, enjoy. Make sure it's cherry. I don't know what that's like, cherry creamsicle or something.
Oh, yeah. That would be good.
Oh,
yeah.
That's nice. All right.
Popsicles. All right.
All right, let's take a look at that video. Did when you think of countries that have, maybe a country that has more islands than any other country in the world, does anything like come to mind for you?
Well, could this be up around Maine?
Oh, you know what? That's a good guess. It kind of looks like the coast of Maine, doesn't it?
Yeah, they have a lot of islands. This could be New Zealand?
Oh, maybe. And I would think maybe New Zealand, too, because it's an island nation and they'd be surrounded by islands. But no!
Is this the Caribbean?
This is not. This is Sweden. Sweden has more islands than any other country in the world, an incredible 267,000 islands. Most are tiny and uninhabited, but about 1,000 have people living on them year-round. From the Stockholm archipelago to remote northern lakes, Sweden's islands are a defining part of its landscape and its identity. I bet fishing's good. I didn't think about fishing in Sweden, but they have more islands than any other nation. That caught me off guard.
That's good.
So, anyway.
I wonder what the winters are like there and the summers are like.
I would think it's Sweden.
Where are they on the parallel?
It's Sweden. They're high. They're up. They're right next to Norway. It's cold in the wintertime. Yeah. So they have I bet a lot of that stuff freezes.
They have 3 weeks of summer.
Kind of like our northern territories up in Alaska.
All right, good stuff. All right, well, here's a guy that's on an island unto himself.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. General high pressure will keep things warm and dry, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with heat warnings and highs in the low 90s for Vancouver and Portland and mid-90s for Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing with mostly sunny skies and heat warnings as we move down the Willamette Valley, with daytime highs in the mid-90s for Salem and Albany and low 90s for Corvallis and Eugene with a light northwest wind. Partly sunny with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms across central Oregon with highs near 92 in Prineville and mid-80s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, a chance of showers and upper 80s. Along the Oregon coast, mostly sunny with widespread haze before 2 p.m. and daytime highs near 74 in Coos Bay, 70 in Port Orford, and 60 in Brookings. Patchy fog, then mostly sunny and 64 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny and hazy with a slight chance of thunderstorms for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with highs near 103 in Grants Pass, 102 in Medford, 95 in Ashland, and 88 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, mostly sunny with a slight chance of thunderstorms and mid-90s for Wairika and upper 90s in Redding, sunny and mid-90s in Chico and Sacramento with a slight chance of afternoon thunderstorms. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny and near 80 in Santa Rosa, becoming sunny with a high near 80 in Napa, mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 70, and today in San Jose, mostly sunny and mid-80s. It's a snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, that actually is our picture this morning. It's still a little dark out there. I went out on the tarmac to see what was parked.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Nothing
out there. Now, there's one DC-10 on the other side of the runway sitting over there, but anyway, you can tell by the lights there's a little haze.
Yeah.
And it's quite mild out there this morning, so we could have that air inversion going on at the moment where it actually will get cooler than warmer.
Well,
and
we had a few thunder bumpers roll through last night. I heard them rumbling, but the dogs were barking, but we didn't get any rain or anything. How about down here in the valley?
No, I mean, it huffed and puffed, but nothing happened.
Yeah, okay, good. And I checked watch duty, to see if they're flying on anything, because I got an alert that something flared up here not far from Ashland.
Yeah.
And but apparently they were on it pretty quick, so no.
I like the new practice. Why didn't they do this years ago?
I don't know. It's kind of unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
All right, well, looking at the Apostle Paul, when he said goodbye to the Ephesian pastors, Dr. Anthony George is here, and he shows an example of agape love in the church.
I have taught you, instead of how to enrich me, I've taught you as a church to always remember the less fortunate among us, and as the body of Christ to make sure we are taking care of one another, because this is the way we show our love for the Lord Jesus, in that we take care of each other. And you know where that starts? It starts at the church. We take care of each other. How can we take care of the world if people in our own flock do not have their needs met? This is one of the greatest trademarks of a healthy Christian congregation. And he quoted Jesus. This isn't found in the gospel, so Jesus must have stated it directly to him. It is more blessed to than to receive. And so verse 36 says, when he had said these things, he got on his knees and he prayed with them all. And look at this, they all wept freely. And they fell on Paul's neck and they kissed him, sorrowing most of all for the words which he spoke, that they would see his face no more. And they accompanied him to the ship.
Well, there we go. I have to say this. There's an old saying I used to say.
Mm-hmm.
If your ministry doesn't work at home, don't export it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
First testing spot.
Let me ask you, does that apply to pastors who are given a message and they can't connect with the folks?
Well, it can apply to you individually.
Okay.
And it can apply to a pastor at a church.
Okay.
We're always anxious to reach out and reach all these people.
Right.
But what's the health condition of your own flock?
That's a good point. And what's in your heart? I have sat, and time for confession. I have sat in a message before, and as the preacher is preaching, I have somebody in mind that this is really should apply to.
Yeah.
And I may even look at the back of their head in church and think, "Are you convicted? Are you convicted?" And I'm thinking, this is the perfect message for you. And then something gets delivered in that message and pierces my heart, and I think, oh. You're talking to me.
Yeah.
You're talking to me. Oh, my word.
Well, just remember, if your ministry doesn't work at home, don't export it.
Good point.
Little point.
Very good point.
All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories, and this is kind of interesting. I guess at times the president still thinks he's on the Apprentice.
I think so.
Yeah,
you're fired.
You're fired. Okay, well, that's what he did yesterday in a letter to the Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. Now, he's been kind of on her a little bit lately. He's on the whole Federal Reserve, especially Powell. But he went after Cook and fired her yesterday and removed her, citing that her mortgage fraud allegations. Now, this is interesting. I read up a little bit on this. Apparently, the Mortgage Federal Housing and Finance Agency, the head of that committee, listed her as potential fraud, as she had listed 2 residents as primary residents within a year that she didn't live at either one.
Oh, yeah.
So she's brought up under the same charges that the gal in New York is being brought up under, the Attorney General.
Letitia James.
James.
Yes.
Now, I'm wondering something.
And Adam Schiff.
And Adam Schiff.
Yeah.
I have something. I wonder here if the Federal Housing Finance Agency, FEMA, is it not FEMA? I'll think of it here in a minute. FCIA. Anyway, I'm wondering if they now have uncovered a fraud train. How many other politicians have done this and got away with it?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, as it relates to being a governor of the Federal Reserve, Lisa Cook, she was brought up on charges and allegations, I should say, at this point. Allegations by the Federal Housing Finance Agency of mortgage fraud, okay? That is enough for the president to remove her. Even though she hasn't been convicted yet, she's under the allegations. She's gone.
Yeah, now let me ask you this.
Now, guess what?
What?
He can appoint somebody else there.
Right. Now, what are you going to do if she doesn't leave? Because she says she's not going. He doesn't have the authority to do it. What happens now?
I think there is, that's a great point, because he's the first president to do this.
Right.
And is there a precedence? No, there isn't a precedence, but there is a statute.
What?
That allows him to do this.
Okay. All right.
So that statute obviously is going to be challenged in court.
Okay.
Another challenge in court.
Here we go.
There you go.
All right.
Well, the president's on a roll.
You bet.
Okay, so yesterday he decided that flag burning, he's had enough of this. And you've got to remember that in 1989, the Supreme Court ruled that burning the American flag was protected by the First Amendment.
Right, free speech, right.
He said, no, he's imposed by special order that you're going to have problems with this, and here's what he had to say.
What happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. If you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they used that language, by the way. Did they? Incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you hurt any of our beautiful monuments. Everybody left town. They were gone. Never had a problem after that. It's pretty amazing. We stopped it. But this is something that's, I don't know, in a certain way, it's equally as important.
Okay, so interesting response to this. Some conservatives say he's wrong.
Right.
Because this should be protected under the First Amendment.
And actually, there are a couple rulings out. In 89 and 90, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that it is unconstitutional for states or the federal government to prohibit burning a flag. But the First Amendment does not protect an individual from liability for burning a pride flag. So my point is this: if you're going to, whatever is good for one flag is good for the other. So if a pride flag is protected, the American flag should be protected.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you think about this in any other terms, but I'm sure it's going to make some conservatives angry.
It did.
But where's their anger when it comes to the protections for a pride flag?
Okay, so here's the deal. Is this Americans want this?
I don't know. I haven't seen any polling. I don't know which way the wind's blowing on this.
I don't know.
I don't think any of us want the flag to be burned, but
right. I think that at the end of the day, this is a moral issue that most Americans, if not a big portion of the American public, feels the American flag should not be burned or trampled upon.
Right.
Okay. Now the question is, can they reverse court decisions to give the American flag protection, as to your point, same protection they're giving the gay flag?
Right.
So we'll see what happens. All right. In the meantime, the governor, gosh, I get all my people mixed up. It's early.
It's Tuesday.
Okay. It's a situation room. I got to get my situations right. Blessed be the situation. Okay. Well, the other one is he decided to get rid of cashless bail.
Yeah.
And you got to ask yourself, what's the point?
Right. Why even bother to arrest somebody if it's just a revolving door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what he said about that.
That was when the big crime in this country started. And I can tell you who did it, when, but I don't want to do that because others followed pretty quickly. But that was when it happened. Somebody kills somebody, they go in, don't worry about it, no cash, come back in a couple of months. We'll give you a trial. You never see the person again. And, I mean, they kill people and they get out. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street, all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C.
Good.
It is. You kind of. How did this come about?
I don't know.
How did you get? I mean, what's the point of bail if it's cashless?
It started the same time as defund the police. It was this move to protect criminals, to hamper law enforcement, and Democrats are stuck with this. They have to try and defend this, and especially going into an election cycle, good luck.
I think what the Democrats weren't thinking about is that they'd never get caught on this, that these little things would never pop up.
Yeah.
Now they have to defend cashless bail and burning the flag and rioters.
Yeah. Yes.
Riot and chaos is a, let me put it this way, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, justice and democracy are disguised words for riot and chaos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They'll say, we got to have democracy and justice.
Yeah.
Those are code words for riot and chaos.
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's another one. Kristi Noem yesterday, you know, she is pretty strong on this Homeland Security stuff, and she basically said this gentleman here, he's been in the news a lot, Kilmar Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
He got out of one jail, turned himself into ICE. His rap sheet is unbelievable. And he's trying to hide behind his family. He's an illegal.
He's charged with human trafficking.
Yes, and he's an MS-13 member and all this stuff.
Right.
Okay, so he turns himself in. He's being put through the court system, and basically Kristi Noem and President Trump are both saying no matter what, he's leaving the country.
Yeah.
Now the question, where is he going?
Where is he going? Yeah.
Is he going to go to Uganda? Does he go back to El Salvador? Where does he go?
I don't understand this separate country exit policy. I'm not sure I get that yet, where they send people to countries that they have no connection to, like Uganda.
Right.
But he's going somewhere.
He's going to go somewhere, and I think the other thing we need to be aware of, folks, this sounds also conspiratorial, but it's true. When you see these demonstrations outside the courtroom trying to support him, and you see the demonstrations trying to support the illegal truck driver that killed those 3 people.
Right, right.
This is all paid demonstration.
Yeah.
It's all coming from George Soros. He has he has all these sub little companies. Actually, they're outreaches, they're nonprofit organizations that he funds that basically pay people to go to riot on this stuff and to go out and protest.
Flash mobs.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Flash mobs.
So this guy Garcia is known as a wife beater, a sex trafficker, a molester, and an MS-13, and he's illegal. What do you do with this guy? And he's saying, I need to stay here because this is where my family is.
Right. They call
what family?
Democrats love to call him a Maryland man.
Okay.
A Maryland man instead of an illegal immigrant.
Here's what Kristi Noem said about it.
He has is off the streets. Thanks for all the work that President Trump has done and the people he's put in place who enforce our laws. This man is a suspected terrorist, known to affiliate and be friends with MS-13 members, spend time with them, has been arrested before and suspected of human trafficking, extremely dangerous individual, a known wife beater. This is someone that should never be free in the United States of America, and bringing him to justice is incredibly important to the safety of the American people. We are really hoping that he will continue to face penalties for what he has done, and the dangerous individual like he is will never be allowed to roam free here in the United States of America. And remember, he's not a U.S. citizen. He was never here legally to begin with, and he shouldn't be. And we will continue to use every single enforcement action that we have available to us to make sure that he's held accountable to that.
Okay, he goes. It's just a matter of where and when.
Yeah, I wish you could get her back, but Liz Peek's got a great article in Fox today on this subject, and it reads, Trump pranks Democrats into opposing something they've always claimed to support, and that's law and order.
Yeah.
And that's out the window with them. So again, too, coming into midterm elections, this is going to be an interesting position for them to try and defend.
Well, yeah, it's how do you do this?
Yeah.
How do you do this? All right, we'll take a quick, do we have anything to eat today?
Yeah, we had, what was it?
Oh, the cherry.
Oh, cherry popsicles.
Okay, I'll pass. And I like cherries. Don't get me wrong. I love cherry pie. That's one of my favorite ones. But I brought in some fresh peaches today.
Oh, I saw that.
Okay.
Oh.
Now, you have to beat Alice to them.
Well, she already beat us.
Oh,
she's already got it.
Okay, but that's only one. They are so sweet. They're in season right now.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have a peach break. We'll be right back.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
At Hellgate Jetboat Excursions, we salute you. Military Mondays are here. Active duty military guard, reserve, and retired military members get 50% off their ticket price every Monday of the season. It's our way of saying thank you for your service. But heads up, this offer is only valid on Mondays. One discount per reservation and can't be booked online. Call to book your adventure today. Hellgate Jetboat Excursions, where adventure runs wild and we honor our heroes. Some restrictions apply. Visit hellgate.com for details.
No drug can replicate the benefits as an active lifestyle.
In 1968, he challenged the views of mainstream medicine.
Believe it or not, at one time, doctors thought it could lead to an early grave.
And before his idea could become a cornerstone of good health, he'd have an uphill battle.
I was immediately jumped on by the Medical Society. You're going to kill people.
Dr. Kenneth Cooper.
Tuesday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
All right, good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Good morning, 24 minutes past there. A little bit of an update. The big fire outside of Sisters and out towards the central Oregon area, better known as the Flat Fire, threatening quite a few thousand homes out that way. They do have 5% containment. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. And around 1,200 people now are fighting that fire. It's over 22,000 acres, and more than 800 residents are still under what they call level 3 evacuation, which means go now. I do know the air support over this has been significant, coming in from all over the place, actually flying out of our backyard here in Medford DC-10s have been flying all day yesterday and yesterday evening. So it's only, maybe a 15-minute flight from here to there for them in a DC-10. But the point being is they're attacking it pretty hard, and it is threatening a lot of homes. It's a beautiful area, so thoughts and prayers in that area as they fight that. The other one is the Republicans in California have filed their second legal challenge in a week to block the state's Democrat and Governor Gavin Newsom from moving forward with a ballot measure this fall to redraw congressional lines. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. They are not up for reapportionment. So the governor is putting together a ballot measure. I think it's Proposition 50. And basically what it is, it's going to be on the November 4th ballot in California for the citizens to vote as to whether or not they want to go through redistricting, okay? And the Republicans are fighting back. God bless them. Stand up. This is crazy. You know what Newsom's trying to do. And you know the other thing about this, how do you divide blue into more blue?
Well, he'll find a way.
Okay.
Just watch.
So 2 constitutional provisions in force now say that the redistricting has to be done by the Independent Citizens Commission and not by the state legislature. So we'll see if this can stick in court. Now, you got to remember, California, the high probability that the biases at the court level is probably pretty crazy. But at least they're fighting. And the only thing I can say to our friends in California, and I have a family member down there and all that, I mean, look, it's ludicrous. How do you like $5 and $6 and $7 gas?
Yeah.
I mean, how you liking that?
I just did that down there. Yeah.
It's crazy. So, all right, let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on in our backyard. We have a lot of activity as the barometric pressure is changing, and we'll see a slow decline in the temperatures, actually starting yesterday, a little bit today as well. And as we get into the long Labor Day weekend, it should be quite pleasant. But this is perfect thunder bumper making weather.
Yes, it is.
So be careful. Okay, out there.
Be very careful. Well, it was interesting. I've been watching some clips of John Bolton commenting on the classified documents in Mar-a-Lago raid and how serious it was. And he was like so defending the government in it. Well, guess what? Arkansas Governor Rick Crawford reacted to this clip of Vice President J.D. Vance defending the FBI raid on John Bolton's home.
I suspect that if the media and the American people let this case actually unfold, if they let the investigation unfold as it's currently doing, they're going to find out that what we're doing is being very deliberate and being very driven by the national interest and by the law here, and that's as it should be.
Yeah, I think the vice president summed it up pretty well. Look, I think if the FBI under Director Patel and the DOJ under AG Bondi feel like it's necessary to serve a warrant, probable cause indicates that they need to serve a warrant, then that's fairly standard. I don't think Democrats should be throwing a fit over this, particularly given the nature of the raid on Mar-a-Lago. This is relatively mild by comparison, and so I don't understand the outrage over this particular incident, and this will be fully adjudicated. This is very transparent. Everybody's aware of what's going on here. It's not like this is some sort of a secret plot to try to take somebody down. It just seems to be a double standard here.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting to me? What happened to John Bolton? What is it that makes him the elitist that he thinks he is?
I don't know.
He and President Trump must have had a real falling out. I mean, it must have been even personal. Okay, but now he didn't get appointed in the second term. He came out super critical of the president. He basically says he's a loose cannon. He's taken all the Democratic talking points and he's accentuated them.
His own, right?
Okay.
Yes.
He's been on all the liberal talk shows. Okay, but prior to that, he was on all the conservative talk shows, and he was seen as some kind of an amazing intellect as it related to geopolitical things. And now he's this. And you kind of go, what happened here? What happened to this guy? I heard him speak twice at the NRB. He was special guest speaker at the NRB. Very pro-Israel. Now, I don't know. I'm trying to scratch my head. What happened to this guy?
Is this just basic TDS?
I don't know. I mean, now, if they suspected, I can't imagine that the Trump administration, as controversial as it is in so many things, I can't imagine them just arbitrarily going into John Bolton's house and upsetting his day by doing a raid if there wasn't something there.
Right.
Because the fallout from being wrong would stifle this administration and the media unlike anything they've seen so far.
Yeah.
It would be a handoff to the libs to just absolutely beat them up.
Yeah.
Okay, so there must be something there.
Was it triggered by the book? Some say that there's some kind of leaked classified information in the book itself.
Apparently the book made some quotes or statements that would only have been known by people who had access to classified information. Now, they're going to have to take that as the lead and backtrack. Then the question is, where did he get the classified information? Did he have it next to his Corvette in the garage? I don't know. But I am just kind of going, what happened to John?
Or did he? I think he did. I think his is similar to Hillary's. They transferred this classified information onto a private server. I don't know if his was in the bathroom, but he had it on his premises somewhere.
Well, something. Yeah. But I'm trying to figure out what happened to this guy. Yeah. He really was a good ambassador.
I thought so. Yeah. Yeah, he was a little hawkish.
Well, he's very hawkish, and I look. He did remind me of Vice President Dick Cheney.
Yeah, good point.
Dick Cheney was shooting. We'll talk about it later.
Right.
You know, but
you don't want to go hunting with Dick.
No. Duck. But Bolton's that way. I mean, he was very, very hawkish. But I'm just trying to figure out what happened here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is the syndrome that addictive?
I think it is. I really do.
If you sip the syndrome Kool-Aid, you just go crazy?
You go goofy. All common sense leaves. You lose grip of the actual, facts and issues. I don't know.
All right, we're going to have a Pete syndrome. We'll be right back.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home. Since 1987, Four Seasons Nursery has been the gold standard in the green industry here in Southern Oregon. Tim Albert and his friendly staff continue to offer the best plants and most accurate knowledge to create your dream landscape. At Four Seasons Nursery on Crater Lake Avenue, you can let your imagination run wild with a huge selection of all things plant and gardening for both inside and outside beautification. Whether it's a flower for your window seal, one of our beautifully renowned signature hanging baskets, or a complete landscape design for your entire property, Four Seasons Nursery can help you every step of the way with design services, workshops, and more. Let your imagination run wild as you immerse yourself in their nursery filled with beauty that knows no bounds. Four Seasons Nursery, 5736 Crater Lake Avenue, 5736 Crater Lake Avenue, 1/2 mile north of Vilas Road, 541-779-5603, 541-779-5603. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Jerry's Situation Room.
And the situation is warm enough.
I know. Blessed be the situation.
Yeah.
Well, let's check in and see what the situation is in the Middle East with CBN News Watch.
This is CBN News Watch. We're going to begin this Tuesday, August 26, with an apology from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for an attack in Gaza Monday. that killed 5 journalists. Netanyahu calls it a tragedy. But as CBN's Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem, the Israeli military points out it also shows the dangers of dealing with an enemy like Hamas, who hides among civilians.
The Prime Minister's office released a statement that said, in part, Israel deeply regrets the tragic mishap that occurred today at the Nasser Hospital in Gaza. Israel values the work of journalists, medical staff, and all civilians. Our war is with Hamas terrorists. Our just goals are defeating Hamas and bringing our hostages home. The IDF said an investigation is underway.
As a professional military committed to international law, we are obligated to investigate our operations thoroughly and professionally. The Chief of the General Staff has instructed that an inquiry be conducted immediately to understand the circumstances of what happened and how it happened.
Defram added that the IDF faces challenges in fighting Hamas.
Reporting from an active war zone carries immense risk, especially in a war with a terrorist organization such as Hamas, who cynically hides behind the civilian population.
I think we do need to place this in a certain context, and that is the role of hospitals as used by the Hamas organization inside the Gaza Strip.
Jonathan Spire from the Middle East Forum told CBN News how he found out the way Hamas uses hospitals.
As a result of some issues I was involved with last year, found myself in the summer of 2024 talking to a person inside one of the hospitals, Shahada Al-Aqsa Hospital in Deir al-Balah. And this person, talking to myself and my colleague in real time on WhatsApp, on our phones, was saying, yeah, I'm in this hospital, we're surrounded by Hamas operatives, there are certain parts of the hospital that we're not allowed to go to because they're for the exclusive use of Hamas. That was an actual eyewitness on the ground telling me that. And I think this fits in with that picture that we know that the Hamas organization very cynically is making use of medical facilities.
Spire says the media often misses this important context.
Unfortunately, I think what we've seen is, certainly in regard of a number of very prominent media organizations, is a willingness to take at face value claims and figures and reports coming out of Gaza produced by the Hamas Authority itself or by individuals closely associated with it.
Meanwhile, in the Oval Office, President Trump said he's not happy about the incident, but he hopes the war will be over soon.
I think within the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to have pretty good conclusive ending. And it's a hard thing to say because they've been fighting for thousands of years. If you want to know, that's been a hotbed forever. But I think we're doing a very good job. But it does have to end. But people can't forget October 7th.
On the international front, Australia today severed diplomatic ties with Iran and expelled its diplomats. The Prime Minister is accusing Iran of orchestrating extraordinary and dangerous acts of aggression on Australian soil, including arson attacks. Iran's foreign minister dismissed the charges, calling them a smokescreen to compensate for Israel's recent criticism of Australia for its support of a Palestinian state.
Continue our coverage now with Chris Mitchell reporting from Israel. So, Chris, does Israel worry tragedies like the one at the hospital create even more problems for Israel's war in Gaza in the eyes of the world and the international media?
I think they worry quite a bit about that, Ephraim. They don't like to see incidents like this happen. For the Prime Minister's office and the IDF, first of all, to apologize and then begin an investigation shows that they take this quite seriously. They do understand the kind of context that what happens, as Jonathan Spire said in our report, Hamas uses hospitals all the time. They have done this for many, many years. In fact, in some of the previous wars, it was known that many of the Hamas leaders hid under many of the hospitals, knowing that the IDF would not attack a hospital. Yet now here we are after October 7th, and as the IDF is trying to defeat Hamas militarily, they also understand that Hamas continues to use hospitals, medical staff. However, this was a tragic incident. Some of the journalists as well as some of the rescue workers were tragically killed in this incident, but it is taken very seriously by Israel, and they try to do what they can to mitigate harm to civilians and journalists.
Does the fact that Hamas hides among the civilian population increase the risk for events like this?
Oh, incredibly. Sometimes it's a strategy by Hamas or other jihadist groups to use civilians as human shields. So when they fire out of civilian areas or perhaps a hospital or other places and expecting a response by the IDF, then tragically civilians can be caught in the crossfire. That is a way that really demonizes, Hamas tries to use that to demonize Israel. And it's just the kind of battlefield, not only militarily on the ground in Gaza, but also in the public relations arena around the world. And as Jonathan Spire said, sadly, some of the international media will report on things, but sadly miss the context of what is happening in a situation like what happened yesterday.
All right, we'll see what goes on there. It's that is strategy. That is that's the risk of war.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you do with it. I mean, those things happen, and it's horrible when it does. All right, let's check out the weather with Mr. Situation.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. General high pressure will keep things warm and dry, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with heat warnings and highs in the low 90s for Vancouver and Portland and mid-90s for Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing with mostly sunny skies and heat warnings as we move down the Willamette Valley, with daytime highs in the mid-90s for Salem and Albany and low 90s for Corvallis and Eugene with a light northwest wind. Partly sunny with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms across central Oregon with highs near 92 in Prineville and mid-80s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, a chance of showers and upper 80s. Along the Oregon coast, mostly sunny with widespread haze before 2 p.m. and daytime highs near 74 in Coos Bay, 70 in Port Orford, and 60 in Brookings. Patchy fog, then mostly sunny and 64 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny and hazy with a slight chance of thunderstorms for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with highs near 103 in Grants Pass, 102 in Medford, 95 in Ashland, and 88 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, mostly sunny with a slight chance of thunderstorms and mid-90s for Wairika and upper 90s in Redding, sunny and mid-90s in Chico and Sacramento with a slight chance of afternoon thunderstorms. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny and near 80 in Santa Rosa, becoming sunny with a high near 80 in Napa, mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 70, and today in San Jose, mostly sunny and mid-80s. It's a snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, there's a little picture from Mount Ashland this morning. Gary's second home.
Boy, I'll say.
Looks like a war zone. What happened up there?
It all melted. But yeah, it's my home away from home, and I'm a little homesick.
I can see you are.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the top of Mount Ashland. This is looking from over towards the dome, which is the,
Yeah. That's the bowl to the left of us over there.
Right.
So yeah, we're looking like a little bit southeast.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
All right. So no snow up there.
No snow. It's going to be a while. Well, we're pretty fond of automotive history, and we like to look back at the classics. But today, it's not an American, but a British classic. On this day in 1959, the British Motor Corporation introduced the Morris Mini Minor, better known simply as the Mini. The Mini is synonymous with the Union Jack, a true British staple. It's the vehicular equivalent of fish and chips or a roast dinner. Designed by Sir Alec Isagonis, the car was just 10 feet long, yet could comfortably seat 4 passengers. Born out of the fuel shortages following the Suez Canal crisis, its compact design maximized space for people and luggage while keeping fuel use low. The Mini quickly became more than just practical, it was a cultural icon. With its distinctive style and nimble handling, it was embraced by everyone from everyday drivers to race car champions, even the Beatles. Over the decades, more than 5 million Minis were sold worldwide before the original model ended production in 2000. Small in size but huge in influence, the Mini left a lasting mark on the automotive industry. How about that?
Well, aren't they out there?
Yeah, there's a newer version of it now. In fact, Judy drives a Morris.
Well, they're really kind of cool looking.
Yeah, they're very cool looking. Yeah, and
they got convertibles.
Yeah,
they got 4 doors.
Well, and that one, it was interesting too. To make more room, 80% of the space inside the car went to passengers or luggage. 80%.
Wow.
And they put the wheels up in the far corners of at the end of the car on both ends. So there's really no fender space at the rear of the car or the front of the car because the wheels are at each corner. It's bizarre, but it worked.
It worked.
Yep.
All right, whoever thought back in 1974 that somebody would say, one day, you're going to be able to work from home with your computer and do your banking. 1970. Right. Oh, you're crazy. No. Mr. Arthur Clarke said this on Australia's ABC back in 1974.
All right.
I brought along my son Jonathan, who in the year 2001 will be the same age as I am now. Maybe he will be better adjusted to this kind of world that you're trying to portray.
The big difference when he grows up, in fact, if we wanted to wait for the year 2001, is that he will have in his own house, not a computer as big as this, but at least a console through which he can talk to his friendly local computer and get all the information he needs for his everyday life, like his bank statements, his theater reservations, all the information you need in the course of living in a complex modern society. This will be in a compact form in his own house. He'll have a television screen like these here and a keyboard, and he'll talk to the computer and get information from it. And he'll take it as much for granted as we take the telephone.
I wonder, though, what sort of a life would it be like in social terms? I mean, if our whole life is built around the computer, do we become a computer-dependent society and computer-independent individuals?
In some ways, but they'll also enrich our society because it'll make it possible for us to live really anywhere we like. Any businessman and executive could live almost anywhere on Earth and still do his business through a device like this. And this is a wonderful thing. It means we want him to be stuck in cities, we better live out in the country or wherever we please, and still carry on complete interaction with human beings as well as with other computers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oops, I'm OD. We'll be right back.
Sing your song and rejoice for the love that he has given us all. Oh, children of
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
All right, happy Tuesday. 11 minutes before the hour on a little bit cooler day as the day progresses, and then every little inch down. A couple of days ago, I had Spencer Morrison on. Now he's a pretty interesting guy. He's well known and writes for a bunch of stuff, and he was tracking the tariff income from what President Trump is doing. I will say one thing about President Trump. I don't think we've seen this active of a president in our lifetime.
Yeah.
He seems to have his fingers in everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, the tariff thing is still very controversial. And he said the tariff income has hit about $29 billion as of July. So here's what he had to say about it.
And I think it's really important that we talk about the sort of the purpose of tariffs in the long run. And this goes all the way back to 1791 when Alexander Hamilton wrote this amazing work called The Report on Manufactures. Alexander Hamilton, maybe you guys have heard of him. I think he was in a play.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Well, anyways, Hamilton said the tariffs really have two dual purposes. The first purpose is to raise income for the new government. And the reason that he chose tariffs is because tariffs are an avoidable tax, which means that if the tariffs are raised too high, people will just buy American, right? This limits the size of the federal government because it limits the amount of tax revenue that can be raised. And of course, it limits the amount of money that the government can borrow because nobody wants to borrow against, lend to a government that can't raise further revenue. So that's the beautiful thing about tariffs being an avoidable tax. The second purpose of tariffs, though, and this is the more important purpose, was to stimulate domestic production, to industrialize the newfound country. And this is what tariffs were used for all throughout the 1800s. America had the highest average tariff rate in the world in the 1800s. And of course, it's no surprise that during that time, America industrialized and became the world's factory. So this is what tariffs are for, ultimately. They're to promote domestic industry and domestic economic growth. The revenue side of things, it's not quite as important. So when I hear that the tariff revenue numbers are going up, I think that's fine in the short run. But in the long run, what we really want to do is see lower tariffs because that means people are buying American.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're at this tipping point, and we'll see. Where it's too close. I mean, the tariff thing could backfire, and Trump's whole thing could just collapse. On the other hand, it could go the way he wants it to go, and the whole thing will just be unbelievable prosperity. Mm-hmm. We're at this really critical time where Americans are going to have to pay a little more now to get a whole lot less later. But most of us don't think down the road. We're not generational thinkers. We're today thinkers.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like going to school. You have to go to school to get an education. It's a pain that it is, but it does award you something at the other end.
Yeah.
You know. So a little bit of thought there.
Yeah. Well, and also too traditionally, obviously, the imports that we get, especially the Chinese imports, have been a lot cheaper than a lot of the stuff that you can get here. Are with tariffs in mind and stuff, are people starting to look at country of origin of some of the stuff that we're buying? Has that happened at all, do you think?
Yeah, I think, look, when the president held up that chart, which I'm still amazed that we don't do this more often. Visual is so powerful. He held up the chart, and everybody instantly saw the argument, instantly saw the inequities of what was going on, and they accepted it.
Yeah.
Something had to be done about it.
Right.
If you go back to President Trump's early interviews, clear back into the Oprah shows and some of these other talk shows, he was talking about this stuff as a young businessman.
Same stuff. Yeah.
Same stuff. And now he's president and he's doing something about it. So I think we understand the problem, but we don't have the acumen or the history or the understanding how it really works, because there's arguments on both sides, good and bad.
You know what the difference?
But there was a time, a time that America's only income was tariff.
Right. But you know the difference was when he was younger years ago talking about these things on Oprah? She was agreeing with him because the DNC hadn't told her yet that he was the enemy and that she needed to disagree with him.
Well, he was on Phil Donahue.
They were courting him.
He was all over the place. He was the young buck. And there's even some film out there of him being interviewed and questioned by ABC, and he gets up and leaves. He takes his microphone off and says, "Have a nice day. You're asking dumb questions." He did this as a young guy.
Yeah.
So I think there has to be some slack given here, that there was something in him long before he became president that motivated to become president. And overall, it's the economic interest of the United States. We don't think in those levels. We don't operate in those levels. He did. But we've never seen an active president as much as he is now. Is he good about it? Is he nice about it? Is he human about it? Is he pleasant about it? probably gets a C- to a D in some of those things.
I think part of the problem with him is he doesn't have a real good filtration system on the things that he says. If it comes, he's kind of stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Anything that comes to mind comes out of his mouth.
Well, I only have one complaint on him right now. Well, I got to be careful. There's
What?
some others. Come on, Mr.
on.
President. What did you do to the Oval Office?
Oh, that's another segment.
They look like a museum. Come on, tone it down. Take some of the gold off. Tone it down. It's the people's office, not yours. Excuse me.
Okay, moving on. You know, have you noticed?
Situation at theDove.Jerry.
On a much lighter note, have you noticed there are some really cute videos online? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you go to the ball game and some of the best stuff is happening in the stands. Mm-hmm. And here's a great example of with a young boy truly enjoying himself at the ball game. Sometimes the best highlight at a baseball game doesn't happen on the field. It happens in the stands. During a recent matchup between the Seattle Mariners and the Oakland Athletics, the stadium camera found one young fan living his best life. The boy buried his entire face into a bag of popcorn, munching away without a care in the world, and the hilarious scene instantly went viral online. Fans couldn't get enough of his carefree joy. One person summed it up perfectly in his comments. Peak happiness right there.
That's your grandson.
It could be.
Mark 10:45, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life a ransom for many. Take that with you today.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Iran did attack Israel yesterday, and that has escalated. This is the cost of freedom and liberation. It doesn't minimize the pain and the suffering here and the death.
G7 is interested in monitoring their program. Trump says, we're way past that.
Yeah.
We're eliminating it.
Dads have power in their words.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
Clean water is essential to your good health. Ultra Pure Purified Water has been delivering purified, healthy drinking water to the Rogue Valley since 1995. Locally owned and family run, Ultra Pure Purified Water uses a multi-stage process ensuring your delivery of water is 99.8% pure, so your family stays hydrated and healthy. Online at ultrapurewaterinc.com or call 541-734-0828. 541-734-0828.
Greg Laurie, encouraging viewers to know God and make Him known. Harvest, Monday and Thursday at 1 p.m. on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Jerry's Situation Room.
And the situation is warming up.
Yes, sir. Blessed be the situation.
Yeah.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. A tad cooler today, enough to celebrate.
Wait a minute. Let's look at that description. Is it a tad cooler or a tad less hot?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, a tad less hot.
Yeah, okay.
It's still in the hot category, but not as much.
All right.
But we by the holiday weekend, the Labor Day weekend coming up, we should be very pleasant.
Yeah.
Very pleasant for the last fling of summer, you know.
Right.
Anyway, good morning to you. A ton of news. We'll get into that. And Jerry's here. That's all you need to know. And his interpretation of the news is the one that we still argue over.
Well, it's debatable, yeah.
Absolutely. I like watching people, you know, and I don't think I have a sixth sense of discernment or anything like that, but you'd pick up some patterns.
Yeah.
Okay, and you begin to see some similarities. And I have come to another one of conclusions in today's high anxiety world.
Okay.
People don't really care about what you think and what your opinion is.
Okay.
They want you to agree with theirs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well.
Okay?
Yeah.
And if you can figure that out, the conversation will actually go pretty good. You know why?
Why?
Let them win. What's the big diff?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to think, fine. It's a free world. Go for it.
Does that apply to marriage?
If you're smart... If you're really smart, there are moments where I question your smartness.
Yeah, I know.
All right. What's up, man? What do you got?
Well, with that in mind, it's National Women's Equality Day. No. There's a lot of equality in my house, I'll tell you what. And it's because
hang in there, Pam, you're winning.
She's like, yeah, she's got some comments rolling right now. But anyway, it's the day that the United States Congress passed the 19th Amendment. It granted women full and equal voting rights on this day in 1920. So, ladies, enjoy Equality Day. And with that in mind, it's National Web Mistress Day, and recognizing women in web development. Also, it is National Dog Day, and it's not for the dog days of summer. It's encouraging dog ownership of all breeds, and considering mutts, mixes, purebreds, and everything and anything in between. And boy, we've had them at my house.
AKC neighborhood.
AKC, that's a great breed, isn't it? Yes. All right, only one thing to eat, and on a hot day, it's a good thing. It's National Cherry Popsicle Day. And when it comes to popsicles, it's just like some other things, like Kleenex. It's actually a brand name that is generic for anything that is similar, like, any kind of a tissue we call Kleenex, and anything that's a frozen pop like this we call a popsicle, but it's not. And but cherry popsicles are good. Makes your tongue and your lips red.
Yeah, I like that cream one there.
The creamsicle there, yeah, with the cherry. That's a nice way to look at it, yeah. Okay, all right. As we look at geographical interest, you think of a place that has a lot of islands and a country that may have more islands than any other country in the world. Sometimes I think, when I think of islands, I think tropical islands, like
the Caribbean.
South Pacific. The island hopping that went in World War II, they went from, archipelago to archipelago. Yeah. But no, did you know that the country with more islands than any other country in the world is Sweden? They have an incredible 267,000 islands. Most are tiny and uninhabited, but about 1,000 have people living on them year-round. From the Stockholm archipelago to remote northern lakes, Sweden's islands are a defining part of its landscape and its identity, and I had no clue. That's one of the last ones I would think of would be Sweden.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, we have like Maine, the state of Maine.
This kind of looks like Maine, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has a gazillion islands up there. I like watching Cabin Masters on.
Oh,
do you watch those guys?
I've seen that kind of yes,
okay, well, they call them camps. We call them cabins, but they call them camps. And they go up there and they redo these camps on islands and peninsulas all throughout Maine. But that looks beautiful.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, the first thing that comes to mind when I see a shot like this with all these islands and the shoreline is like fishing. Man, these islands, they got to hold a lot of fish on those shorelines.
You would think so, but this is Sweden, where they have 3.5 weeks of summer.
Let's go ice fishing.
Let's go ice fishing. All right, good stuff all the way around. All right, well, he's an island to himself, but he does the weather here. His name's Jerry.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. General high pressure will keep things warm and dry, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with heat warnings and highs in the low 90s for Vancouver and Portland and mid-90s for Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing with mostly sunny skies and heat warnings as we move down the Willamette Valley, with daytime highs in the mid-90s for Salem and Albany and low 90s for Corvallis and Eugene with a light northwest wind. Partly sunny with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms across central Oregon with highs near 92 in Prineville and mid-80s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, a chance of showers and upper 80s. Along the Oregon coast, mostly sunny with widespread haze before 2 p.m. and daytime highs near 74 in Coos Bay, 70 in Port Orford, and 60 in Brookings. Patchy fog, then mostly sunny and 64 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny and hazy with a slight chance of thunderstorms for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with highs near 103 in Grants Pass, 102 in Medford, 95 in Ashland, and 88 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, mostly sunny with a slight chance of thunderstorms and mid-90s for Wairika and upper 90s in Redding, sunny and mid-90s in Chico and Sacramento with a slight chance of afternoon thunderstorms. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny and near 80 in Santa Rosa, becoming sunny with a high near 80 in Napa, mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 70, and today in San Jose, mostly sunny and mid-80s. It's a snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a snapshot from the top of Mount Ashland. This is kind of an interesting shot because it's looking east this morning. As you can see, the sun coming up. Just at the top right-hand corner is the dome at Mount Ashland.
The dome.
But there is no snow.
Now,
I understand. Can you drive there or hike to there?
You can both. You can hike and drive up to there. We've driven right up to the edge there of the bowl.
So you have to go on the backside to do that, right?
Yeah, there's an access road up the backside there.
Yeah, it's worth going up there and having a picnic.
Hey, you know, we talk about the dome. I call it the big golf ball up at the top of Mount Ashland. What's in there?
I think that's weather.
Weather, yeah.
And also microwave, but what's the term I'm looking for here? I should know this. Anyway, it's electronics in there.
Is there RF coming off of that?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I want to know. Is it affecting my health?
Yes. No. Let me put it this way. Skis affect your health.
Enough said. Okay, moving on. Time for a little encouragement here with Dr. Anthony George.
What does it mean when he says in verse 26, I am innocent of the blood of all men? It harkens back to this fairly obscure passage in the book of Ezekiel where God told the prophet, if I say to you, warn the wicked that he shall surely die if he doesn't repent, and you do not warn the wicked as I've told you, his blood shall be on your hands. But if I say to you, warn the wicked, and you do warn the wicked, and he does not repent, his blood shall be on his own hands. This idea of blood on the hands has to do with when we withhold the soul-saving truth that people need to hear. And what Paul said to these Ephesian pastors who represent the congregation there several miles away, what he said to them is, I have not held back from you anything that I should have given you, therefore my hands are clean. You know, I have to admit, in looking back at my life, I don't know that I have the cleanest of hands when it comes to the responsibility that I've had to share the gospel with everyone God led me to share it with. Let that sink in for a moment. If we could look at our hands with spiritual eyes, is there any blood on our hands where we had the opportunity to share Christ with someone and we said, no, not a good time. I'm too embarrassed. I'm not sure how they will react. Paul made a statement that I cannot make when he said, I am innocent of the blood of people because I've been faithful to share what God told me to share.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Gosh, I think we all can say that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Have you ever passed on an opportunity and then thought later, boy, the door was wide open.
Yeah.
Why didn't I walk through
I
it?
have, and it
I think we all have. Yeah.
You know, and it usually hits me when I don't think about it after I ignored it. I think about it, all of a sudden it comes to me down the road.
Yeah.
I go, whoa.
Yeah, I know.
What do you do with that? You know, thank God for
second chances.
Third. Fourth. Fifth.
Yeah, amen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories. I think the president yesterday thought he was back on The Apprentice because he likes the term "you're fired."
Yes.
It's hard. You know, we all laughed at Ronald Reagan because he came out of Hollywood, became president.
Yeah.
Okay, so here comes President Trump. You know, he was all over the media.
Right. Yeah.
And he bought and sold shows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What, did he own Miss America or Miss Universe?
Oh, I think he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gosh, quite the guy. But anyway, he had The Apprentice where these people come in and they would tell him how they would do a business plan. And if he didn't like it, he said, "You're out of here." So basically, that's what he did yesterday. But he did it to one of the Federal Reserve governors, Lisa Cook. And he basically sends her a letter and says, "I've determined that there's sufficient cause to remove you from your position. And it's a result of, apparently, mortgage fraud." Now, what it seemingly is happening here, I'm wondering if this mortgage fraud thing is bigger than just a few people.
Oh, it seems to be.
It seems to be a pattern here. And they're all saying that they buy two homes, and they both say that they're both their permanent residents.
Right.
Somebody's being defrauded.
Right. Well, the bank is because they're getting a lower interest rate because it's primary home. Right.
Okay, so in the meantime, this is what's going on, and she got pulled up on this. They got to remember, Letitia James, the Attorney General in New York, is pulled up on this.
Yeah.
Adam Schiff is pulled up on this. So we'll see what happens here. But anyway, that was enough to be accused. She's not convicted, but she's accused of it, and he used that as a means of removing her. I got a funny feeling this will be challenged. She's the first president in the history of the United States to remove somebody from the Federal Reserve Governing Board.
She says he has no authority. It's the first time it's ever been done, so there is a question of authority in it.
Yeah.
And if she refuses to leave, what happens next? If he wants to remove her, does he do exactly that? What will happen?
Well, let me ask you this. Is there something to be said that he has the power to do it?
I don't know.
See? And if he has the power to do it, now, you've got to remember one thing about this. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has accused her of this and passed it on to the DOJ.
Okay.
The DOJ is part of the administration. So apparently he has the authority, but does the statute allow it?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll wait and see, I guess.
Well,
here.
she is a Biden appointee, and I don't know if she's had any influence on the monetary policy so far, but obviously he's a little frustrated with the Fed.
Very much so.
Very much so. So we'll see.
Okay, well, the other thing that happened yesterday, now this is really interesting. The president passed an executive order saying you're going to go to the jail for a year if you burn a flag. Okay, well, even some Republicans are upset with this because apparently from 1989, the Supreme Court recognized that burning the American flag is an expression of free speech. Okay, so, but here's what the president said yesterday.
What happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You could do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. If you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. No early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they? Incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you hurt any of our beautiful monuments. Everybody left town. They were gone. Never had a problem after that. It's pretty amazing. We stopped it. But this is something that's, I don't know, in a certain way, it's equally as important.
Okay, so we'll see where this goes. Now, I don't know, because to your point earlier, you do get fined and put in jail if you burn the gay flag.
Right. Why is a pride flag more protected than the American flag?
Yeah, I mean, look, and I think what the president's banking on here, that probably a vast majority of the American people say, no, you shouldn't destruct the American flag. It's not an expression of free speech. It should be a protected item. It'd be no different than attacking a police officer. So it has to be moved to another can it be moved to the statutes of a monument protection, whatever. I think the flag has to be isolated out of this. It's not a free speech, in my opinion. The Supreme Court was wrong on this. It's a sacred icon of our country, and it should be revered as such, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, if they determine that burning a pride flag is basically hate speech against the gay community, then burning the American flag is hate against American citizens.
No.
Period.
Now, the other thing is, why is it that the gay flag, now the pride flag, I'll put it that way.
Okay.
There are places where the pride flag flies above the American flag, which is against all etiquette.
It shouldn't fly anywhere near the American flag.
I realize that.
Period.
But nothing should be above the American flag.
No, that's
not even a state flag should be above.
That is flag etiquette violation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, then the other one that the president spoke out on yesterday was this thing called cashless bail. Did you know there was such a thing as cashless bail until it became evident and came to surface here in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, that's what they did down in L.A. County and a number of places where crime has run rampant.
What's the point of a bail if it doesn't have a cash penalty?
What's the point of the arrest if you can't hold it? Yeah, right.
So anyway, here's what the president said about cashless bails.
That was when the big crime in this country started. And I can tell you who did it, when, but I don't want to do that, because others followed pretty quickly. But that was when it happened. Somebody kills somebody, they go in, don't worry about it, no cash, come back in a couple of months, we'll give you a trial. You never see the person again. And, I mean, they kill people and they get out. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street, all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C.
Okay. We'll see how that goes. And the other big story is this gentleman, Mr. Kilmar Abrigo Garcia, as you know, has been the center of a lot of controversy. He's an MS-13 gang member. He is a sex trafficker. He is a wife abuser. And the list goes on and on. He was deported, brought back. He got out of jail and turned himself into ICE yesterday. And now he's under federal jurisdiction. And Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, said he's a bad guy and he will leave town. Now, the question is, does he go to Uganda or does he go to Zell? Where are they going to send him? And why were they going to send him to those countries? Bottom line, he's leaving town. Anyways, here's what she had to say.
He is off the streets. Thanks for all the work that President Trump has done and the people he's put in place who enforce our laws. This man is suspected terrorist, known to affiliate and be friends with MS-13 members, spend time with them, has been arrested before and suspected of human trafficking, extremely dangerous individual, a known wife beater. This is someone that should never be free in the United States of America, and bringing him to justice is incredibly important to the safety of the American people. We are really hoping that he will continue to face penalties for what he has done, and the dangerous individual like he is will never be allowed to roam free here in the United States of America. And remember, he's not a U.S. citizen. He was never here legally to begin with, and he shouldn't be. And we will continue to use every single enforcement action that we have available to us to make sure that he's held accountable to that.
Okay, so this whole issue is going to bite the Democrats, because right now they seem, and I want to say this, carefully, but they seem to be very pro-crime.
Yeah.
And because they're countering everything that would be anti-crime. In this case, and them coming to his rescue, Now that he's under ICE control, I don't think this is going to go anywhere other than he's going to catch a bus and be sent somewhere or an airplane somewhere.
Yeah, well, Liz Peek talked about it. I wish you could get her back occasionally.
Yeah, she was a great
She's
guy.
got a great article on Fox, and she says Trump pranks Democrats into opposing something they've always claimed to support. She goes on and talks about, remember the crime bill that Bill Clinton passed? That Democrats are now ashamed of. It had 3 strikes you're out in it. It had a number of things. And now it's being called a racist, tough on crime policy. So they're trying to back away from that. But she makes a good point. You know, Trump has got them in a corner. They're defending lawlessness.
If 2026 midterms is a wash for the Democrats, it's going to be because they're on the wrong side of public safety.
Yeah. Right.
They're just flat on the wrong side of it.
Absolutely.
And the women will turn out in droves to vote for safety in spite of not liking Trump. Okay, because he's made the country safer. Okay.
Will it help in the next cycle that Trump won't be on the national ticket?
Oh, in 28?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think whoever runs, it looks like it's going to be Vance. Could be
Vance or Rubio.
Rubio, one of the combination of those two guys. Look, they're going to have to defend the legacy of Donald Trump and find a way to create their own identity away from Trump. That's going to be tough.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
But they have to do it in such a way that President Trump will go out and campaign for him.
True. That is true.
If they want him to. Now, look, we're 3.5 years. President Trump is enjoying a lot of success right now, but he could stumble somewhere along the way, and you may not want him even close to the next campaign stop.
Yeah.
You never know how this is going to go. It's a long time to go.
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing I could say is, redo the Oval Office. It's a little ornate. I don't like the opulence of it. I'd like to see it simple, brought back.
A little too much gold for you?
Looks like a museum. I don't like it. A lot of people do.
I know.
I don't.
I'm remaining Switzerland on this.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I am.
I think, you know what?
What?
You and I are going to end up on our own island in Sweden somewhere, and there'll be no contact. We'll be broadcasting to fish. We'll be right back.
Would you dare to believe that you still have a reason to sing? 'Cause the pain that you've been feeling, it can't compare to the joy that's coming. So hold on, you gotta wait for the light. Press on and just
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Get ready, Southern Oregon. The ROC Recovery Center, together with NIC Industries, Southern Oregon Signs, Happy Camper, Nick Alexander Films, My Grace Point, and theDove is proud to present the 6th Annual Strong and Courageous Recovery Festival. Join us Saturday, September 6th at Harry and David Ballpark for a powerful day of hope, healing, and community. The action starts at 8 a.m. with an 8-team softball tournament featuring local businesses and recovery agencies. And don't miss the return of the fan favorite Guns N' Hoses game, as Medford and Central Point Police face off with local firefighters in the ultimate battle for the badges. Bring the whole family. Starting at 10 a.m., the Kids Carnival Zone opens with pony rides, a petting zoo, face painting, carnival booths, and of course, great food. All proceeds support recovery services at the Rock Recovery Center. For more information, call 541-200-3000 or visit rockrecoverycenter.org.
How can Christian parents train their kids to know and follow God's design for sexuality in a culture that increasingly rejects it?
Join us as we uncover the damaging misinformation being fed to your children on sexuality and gender identity, and learn effective strategies for grounding them in biblical truth with confidence and grace.
Join me for the John Ankerberg Show weekdays at 4 o'clock right here on the Dove TV. It'll be encouraging and informative.
All right, welcome back. We were talking there, but we ought to somehow have our own show called The Break.
The Break.
Yeah. Just hear the conversation. We'll call it The Break.
Yes.
But I was thinking about the controversy that Cracker Barrel's got itself into by taking the guy sitting on the chair leaning against the barrel.
Yeah.
So apparently they got this new board member who's kind of like a DEI woke specialist.
She's the CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, got some problems there, and they redid the Cracker Barrels, and they revamped the inside to made them a little bit more contemporary. And then they got rid of the guy leaning against the barrel.
Right. Yeah.
It has backfired as bad as Bud Light did.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a big mess.
Yeah.
They had 15% stock value loss in one day.
Wow.
15%. I mean, that almost puts you on the ropes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a Cracker Barrel here in South Medford, and there's just the building empty.
Yeah.
So I think what we ought to do is we ought to buy that and to turn it into either the barn or the corral.
What do you want to serve?
Well, barbecue.
Okay.
Chicken fried steak with a ton of gravy.
Okay.
Real mashed potatoes, not made from,
Not from a mix?
Not from a mix.
All right.
Okay. I mean, just a cholesterol city. Big steaks and fried chicken and limit the menu. Don't have 50 things on there.
Yeah.
And don't serve it as individuals. Serve it as a family style.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you'd have family style.
Yeah.
And call it the barn or the
barn, yeah.
Or the corral or something like that. What do you think?
Well, I think that, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Instead of having rocking chairs out front, you could have saddles over the fence. Stuff like that. By the way, it'd be a great place for the Dove dogs.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right, so much for that nonsense.
And don't go woke. No woke.
No wokey.
No woke.
Yeah, no wokey. That would be... That could be another place. No wokey. Okay. Back to serious stuff. We have a large fire going on in our Central Oregon. In Central Oregon, it's about 22,000 acres. They are slowly getting a handle on it. They were up to 5% containment by yesterday afternoon, which is good news. There's about 1,250 people on this. It's called the Flat Fire. Deschutes County, Jefferson County, there's several people involved in this, and they're working very, very hard. The planes are all over the place, flying from various directions, fighting this fire. Even out of Medford, we have a couple of DC-10s going on over there. More than 800 residents, however, are still under what they call Level 3 evacuation. Level 3 means go now. So they're doing everything they can to protect the homes. But thoughts and prayers there, because this is a very dangerous fire. And boy, that is high there. The good news is the days are shorter and things cool off quicker. And but they do a lot of flying later on in the day when the heat kind of backs off a little bit. But boy, they're fighting that thing like crazy. So thoughts and prayers out there. We'll keep you posted on that. As you know, Governor Newsom in California wants to fight against Texas and reapportionment California, turn it into a redistricting long before it's due. It's not due to be done in California. So he's putting forth Prop 50 on the November 4th ballot. And Prop 50 says to the citizens, do you want your legislature to go ahead and to gerrymander the state? Well, the question I have is, how do you take a blue state and make it more blue?
Yeah, right.
I mean, what few Republicans they have left, maybe up in Northern California around there, they're maybe going to try to ace them out.
Yeah.
But here's the deal, folks. I hope Californians that are listening to us realize what's going on here. What does this have to do with you living in California?
Oh, yeah.
What does this have to do with you getting lower gas taxes?
Yeah.
What does this have to do with your kids being... I mean, this is crazy. This is nothing more than Gavin Newsom using you to make national headlines so that he can run for president. So it's going to be on your ballot November 4th. It would be great if California kind of wakes up and votes this down.
Have you heard any polling or anything? Do we have any clue of how people feel about this in California?
Well, the Republicans in the state have filed their second legal action yesterday.
Okay. All right.
To say that they could block this from happening. It shouldn't be on the ballot. It should come around normally when it does on the calendar. And they're saying, the two are saying that the constitutional provision in force now say that the redistricting has to be done by an independent citizens commissions. I don't know how this happens. So apparently the governor's trying to step over all of that and bring it to the ballot on November 4th. I really hope, when is California going to have enough of nonsense? And this is a perfect one for you to say to the governor, have a nice day. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost you any money. It doesn't cost anything to get up and say no on this one.
Right. Yeah.
But you talk about a supermajority.
Yeah.
It almost makes Oregon look purple.
Almost, but the left coast is pretty strong in that department. Yeah.
We're way behind. Let's take a look at Wall Street this morning, see what's happening there. Thank you, Preston, for your patience and your endurance and for supporting us with Smart Lawn. All right, the Dow's up a whopping almost 14 points. The NAS is up 7, almost 8 points. And the S&P up a little over 1 1/3 point. Boy, this is barely on the scale this morning. I don't know what's doing all that. Gold's up to $34.21. Silver's backing down a little bit, $38.50. And crude oil is up but down, right at $67. So that's still $2 higher than we've seen in the last couple of days.
Well, we saw the Steele dossier, Russia gate. We saw the Hunter Biden laptop. We saw 2 assassination attempts on Trump. We saw 2 impeachments. We saw all this. And then the Democrats cry foul when he comes back in. Did they think that that there would be no looking into these issues, especially of the corruption that was in the last government and what they tried to do against Donald Trump? Well, Arkansas Congressman Rick Crawford spoke with Maria Bartiromo, who asked him if all of those who tried to smear and get Trump over the years are going to be held accountable. And of course, in this is none other than good old Adam Schiff. Rick Crawford is also head of the Intelligence Committee, as was Adam Schiff, and he had this to say.
Yeah, in fact, our committee has taken some pretty bold steps to ensure that happens. D&I Gabbard has you've seen what she's done over the last couple of weeks, where she's basically pulling back the curtain saying, here's what happened. There will be accountability. There's a whole lot of folks at the very top of the heap, from President Obama to former FBI Director Comey to former CIA Director Brennan, former DNI Clapper, and a whole host of senior executives in those related agencies that have a lot of explaining to do. And DNI Gabbard is leading that transparency effort. Well, he should have, and in fact, he did. And so he basically conjured up a whole lot of speculation. Yes, he did lie. He's a serial liar and a serial leaker. He should have never been chairman of that committee, never been on the committee as far as I'm concerned. But I was on the committee the entire time that he was chair and ranking member, and he had no business being on that committee, and there's more to come on that. The Durham report indicated a whole lot of information there that we knew of, but look, we can't jump out there and say things that are classified. Right. In contrast, Chairman Schiff, ranking member Schiff, would leave proceedings in the Intel Committee from a SCIF, a Secure Compartmented Information Facility, and walk out to a media spray and immediately leak information in real time, and then walk back into the proceeding.
Well, look, he may be under immunity, but he's not released from embarrassment.
Yeah, but what's he immune from?
Good question. I don't know. So I think we need to look at, was the immunity an auto pen?
Yeah, that's a big question.
So there's some points. I look in time. Justice will be done, and the question is, do we have the fortitude to put up with this?
That's a big question.
We have to go back through it.
Yeah,
we have to go back through it. But do we have the fortitude? All of a sudden, root canals are more fun. Sorry, Dr.
That
Borg.
again.
Sorry, Dr. Borg. You know what? He doesn't do them anymore. He sends you to somebody else.
You gave him such a bad name.
I gave my dentist such a bad rap that when it came time for my root canal, he sent me to another guy.
Get out of here.
He knows good and well that I won't rap on him because he makes his whole life doing root canals. We'll be right back.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Welcome to Rise Direct Primary Care. Imagine a healthcare experience where you're known by name, cared for like family, and treated with compassion. How is that possible? With an affordable, flat monthly membership, you receive unlimited primary care and minor urgent care visits. No insurance needed. At Rise Direct Primary Care, we offer a friendly, affordable healthcare experience where you get a whole hour with your provider. Located in Central Medford and accessible by phone or text, we can typically get you in the same or next day. We prescribe urgent care medications directly from our office, saving you a trip and wait time at the pharmacy when you'd rather be at home getting better. Personalized medical care with a human touch. Rise Direct Primary Care is all about healing the sick with compassion and keeping the healthy healthy. Rise Direct Primary Care. We're here for you. Visit risehealthdpc.com or call or text us 541-827-8603. 541-827-8603.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
All right, good morning. 24 before the hour, Middle East. Hot and heavy. So let's check in with CBN News Watch and get caught up.
This is CBN News Watch.
We're going to begin this Tuesday, August 26, with an apology from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for an attack in Gaza Monday that killed 5 journalists. Netanyahu calls it a tragedy. But as CBN's Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem, the Israeli military points out it also shows the dangers of dealing with an enemy like Hamas, who hides among civilians.
The Prime Minister's office released a statement that said, in part, Israel deeply regrets the tragic mishap that occurred today at the Nasser Hospital in Gaza. Israel values the work of journalists, medical staff, and all civilians. Our war is with Hamas terrorists. Our just goals are defeating Hamas and bringing our hostages home. The IDF said an investigation is underway.
As a professional military committed to international law, we are obligated to investigate our operations thoroughly and professionally. The Chief of the General Staff has instructed that an inquiry be conducted immediately to understand the circumstances of what happened and how it happened.
Defram added that the IDF faces challenges in fighting Hamas.
Reporting from an active war zone carries immense risk, especially in a war with a terrorist organization such as Hamas, who cynically hides behind the civilian population.
I think we do need to place this in a certain context, and that is the role of hospitals as used by the Hamas organization inside the Gaza Strip.
Jonathan Spire from the Middle East Forum told CBN News how he found out the way Hamas uses hospitals.
As a result of some issues I was involved with last year, found myself in the summer of 2024 talking to a person inside one of the hospitals, Shahada Al-Aqsa Hospital in Deir al-Balah. And this person, talking to myself and my colleague in real time on WhatsApp, on our phones, was saying, yeah, I'm in this hospital, we're surrounded by Hamas operatives, there are certain parts of the hospital that we're not allowed to go to because they're for the exclusive use of Hamas. That was an actual eyewitness on the ground telling me that. And I think this fits in with that picture that we know that the Hamas organization very cynically is making use of medical facilities.
Spire says the media often misses this important context.
Unfortunately, I think what we've seen is, certainly in regard of a number of very prominent media organizations, is a willingness to take at face value claims and figures and reports coming out of Gaza produced by the Hamas Authority itself or by individuals closely associated with it.
Meanwhile, in the Oval Office, President Trump said he's not happy about the incident, but he hopes the war will be over soon.
I think within the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to have pretty good conclusive ending. And it's a hard thing to say because they've been fighting for thousands of years. If you want to know, that's been a hotbed forever. But I think we're doing a very good job. But it does have to end. But people can't forget October 7th.
On the international front, Australia today severed diplomatic ties with Iran and expelled its diplomats. The Prime Minister is accusing Iran of orchestrating extraordinary and dangerous acts of aggression on Australian soil, including arson attacks. Iran's foreign minister dismissed the charges, calling them a smokescreen to compensate for Israel's recent criticism of Australia for its support of a Palestinian state.
Going to continue our coverage now with Chris Mitchell reporting from Israel. So, Chris, does Israel worry tragedies like the one at the hospital create even more problems for Israel's war in Gaza in the eyes of the world and the international media?
I think they worry quite a bit about that, Ephraim. They don't like to see incidents like this happen. For the Prime Minister's office and the IDF, first of all, to apologize and then begin an investigation shows that they take this quite seriously. They do understand the kind of context that what happens, as Jonathan Spire said in our report, Hamas uses hospitals all the time. They have done this for many, many years. In fact, in some of the previous wars, it was known that many of the Hamas leaders hid under many of the hospitals, knowing that the IDF would not attack a hospital. Yet now here we are after October 7th, and as the IDF is trying to defeat Hamas militarily, they also understand that Hamas continues to use hospitals, medical staff. However, this was a tragic incident. Some of the journalists as well as some of the rescue workers were tragically killed in this incident, but it is taken very seriously by Israel, and they try to do what they can to mitigate harm to civilians and journalists.
Does the fact that Hamas hides among the civilian population increase the risk for dangers, events like this?
Oh, incredibly. Sometimes it's a strategy by Hamas or other jihadist groups to use civilians as human shields. So when they fire out of civilian areas or perhaps a hospital or other places and expecting a response by the IDF, then tragically civilians can be caught in the crossfire. That is a way that really demonizes, that Hamas tries to use that to demonize Israel. And it's just the kind of battlefield, not only militarily on the ground in Gaza, but also in the public relations arena around the world. And as Jonathan Spire said, sadly, some of the international media will report on things, but sadly miss the context of what is happening in a situation like what happened yesterday.
Gosh, horrible. It's what do you do? These things happen during war. And but look at the high ground they've taken. They apologized, doing the investigation.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
And they are known for trying to clear areas and trying to give warnings and actually tipping their hand in ways that no other defense organizations would. So, yeah, it's a very difficult situation.
All right, let's check out the weather and see if there's any banana splits on the other side.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. General high pressure will keep things warm and dry, so today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, mostly sunny with heat warnings and highs in the low 90s for Vancouver and Portland and mid-90s for Wilsonville and McMinnville. Continuing with mostly sunny skies and heat warnings as we move down the Willamette Valley, with daytime highs in the mid-90s for Salem and Albany and low 90s for Corvallis and Eugene with a light northwest wind. Partly sunny with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms across central Oregon with highs near 92 in Prineville and mid-80s for Bend and Sun River. Over in Boise, Idaho, a chance of showers and upper 80s. Along the Oregon coast, mostly sunny with widespread haze before 2 p.m. and daytime highs near 74 in Coos Bay, 70 in Port Orford, and 60 in Brookings. Patchy fog, then mostly sunny and 64 in Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, mostly sunny and hazy with a slight chance of thunderstorms for the Rogue Valley and Klamath Basin with highs near 103 in Grants Pass, 102 in Medford, 95 in Ashland, and 88 in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, mostly sunny with a slight chance of thunderstorms and mid-90s for Wairika and upper 90s in Redding, sunny and mid-90s in Chico and Sacramento with a slight chance of afternoon thunderstorms. In the Bay Area, patchy fog, then sunny and near 80 in Santa Rosa, becoming sunny with a high near 80 in Napa, mostly sunny in San Francisco with a high near 70, and today in San Jose, mostly sunny and mid-80s. It's a snapshot of your Tuesday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, a beautiful shot from the top of Mount Ashland this morning, looking almost directly east, and as you can see, there isn't even a speck of snow up there.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Oh, well. Well, we're pretty fond of automotive history. We like to look back at the classics, but today it's not an American, but a British classic.
On this day in 1959, the British Motor Corporation introduced the Morris Mini Minor, better known simply as the Mini. The Mini is synonymous with the Union Jack, a true British staple. It's the vehicular equivalent of fish and chips or a roast dinner. Designed by Sir Alec Isagonis, the car was just 10 feet long, yet could comfortably seat 4 passengers. Born out of the fuel shortages following the Suez Canal crisis, its compact design maximized space for people and luggage while keeping fuel use low. The Mini quickly became more than just practical, it was a cultural icon. With its distinctive style and nimble handling, it was embraced by everyone from everyday drivers to race car champions, even the Beatles. Over the decades, more than 5 million Minis were sold worldwide before the original model ended production in 2000. Small in size but huge in influence, the Mini left a lasting mark on the automotive industry.
Yeah, they did. They're still out there.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, they produced a lot of them. You know, you don't see many of them in this country. I don't know if that's a great car for driving up to Interstate 5 up the west side of California, you know, when everybody's doing 85, 90 out there. Probably not the right vehicle for it, but for its intended use, it was quite a vehicle.
We'll put a Christmas tree lights on top and have it flashing so you can see it. Yes. But I've seen them around town. They're 4-door. Mm-hmm. They have a 2-door, 4-door. They even have a convertible model.
Oh, wow.
You know.
All right.
So I don't know, what, they get 900 miles to the gallon or something?
Maybe, yeah. Or maybe they're like the Flintstones. You know, you get your feet down there.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
I don't know.
All right. 14 minutes before the hour. Here's a question, and we'll take a break and come back and answer it.
Okay.
Do you understand tariffs completely? The good side, the bad side, the upside, the downside?
Is that rhetorical? Do you want me to go on?
Well, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing to hold over for the break.
Is it a bargaining chip?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely,
okay.
Yes.
So is it a, quote, trump card?
Absolutely, yeah.
We'll talk about it when we come back.
Devotion to you. My life is my sacrifice, daily surrendered, and I lift my
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
No drug can replicate the benefits as an active lifestyle.
In 1968, he challenged the views of mainstream medicine.
Believe it or not, at one time, doctors thought it could lead to an early grave.
And before his idea could become a cornerstone of good health, he'd have an uphill battle.
I was immediately jumped on by the Medical Society. You're going to kill people.
Dr. Kenneth Cooper.
Tuesday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. Tariffs are an interesting topic, and they've been praised and demonized to death. And I don't think we ever thought about tariffs seriously over the last 30, 40 years until President Trump comes into office, and it is now one of his great bargaining chips and tools that he's using to get what he wants in his way economically. And if you go back and you look at the early interviews of then Donald Trump on Michael Douglas, you had Oprah,
Yep.
you had
Yep.
those talk shows.
Yep.
He was a young man that saw something that we didn't pay any attention to, and he basically said, we're being ripped off. And he saw it clear back then. Well, anyway, now he's president, and he's doing something about it, and the question is, there's a good side and there's a bad side. There's a positive side and there's a high-risk side to all of this. We're in this risk area right now where things are going to cost us a little more until the tariffs catch up with the production inside the country. We'll see how that goes. Okay, that's yet to be seen. But I did talk to Spencer Morrison, who's kind of a pro in this area, as it relates to President Trump using him as a bargaining chip. The reason I bring this up, we're in the middle of a remodel here. We're only 3 months behind and 50,000 over.
Now that you mentioned it.
Oh gosh, and I'm just, I go, how this, anyway. And part of our challenge has been tariffs. We ordered some equipment.
That's right.
And here comes this tariff bill.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had to cancel those orders. I'm not going to pay tariffs on something that's already in stock.
Right.
You know, so you're arguing with these companies. And well, that set us behind. And then you have to, anyway, then you're beyond the point of no return. You have to finish the project. And oh gosh, what a challenge. So anyway, we ran into tariffs like crazy. And we're now enjoying the downside of tariffs because it is costing us more money right now to get things. And so can you get on with life without it? Well, we did. But it cost us time and money to get around it. But, you know, when you're saving $14,000 here and $24,000 here, you do what you can to do it. You know, when especially where you're dealing with expensive broadcast equipment. Anyway, so here's Spencer talking about tariffs being used as a bargaining chip.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately the hope. I mean, people have to understand and have a little bit of patience. America's run a large chronic trade deficit every year since 1974. So it took us 50 years to get to this point where the country is not making a lot of the things that we ultimately should be making. This isn't going to be something that's corrected in, 6 months. This is a multi-year project, and tariffs are sort of at the cutting edge of that. But it's not, tariffs alone won't fix it. There's other domestic reforms that we need to do. For example, we should be focusing on getting access to cheap energy. Reducing regulations is always a good thing. But all of that is kind of pointless without tariffs because of these differences in the cost of doing business between, America, China, India. I think it's important to remember that the way that tariffs function, the point of them is actually to make imports more expensive. And ultimately, what flows from that is domestic production, because rather than buying the expensive imports, people will buy American products. So there's going to be a period of transition where it's likely that a lot of prices that we're importing a lot of products from are going to increase. But in the long run, what that's going to do is it's going to allow American entrepreneurs, American businessmen, American investors to build that manufacturing capacity here at home. And that will drive prices down in the long run. And I say that because that's what we saw for a century and a half.
So we're in that zone. Okay, so when we were buying equipment here for the Dove, that was the tough spot we were in because the tariffs were now being applied, we didn't have the time to wait for them to be removed or brought down. And that's where most of the country is right now. We're in this tariff war, if I can put it that way, and it is kind of a tariff war going on, until it settles down. Now, the president is starting to see the benefits of this policy because a lot of businesses are leaving other countries and coming to the United States.
Right.
But they don't set up shop tomorrow and start doing business. It takes a while. So we'll see where this goes. But, man, what a challenge. All of a sudden, root canals. Remember those things? Dr. Borg.
And you know, it's true too, though, because the tariff situation is something that was kind of out of sight and out of mind for us. Obviously, it wasn't with President Trump. And again, too, I think most people understand he's just trying to re-level the playing field.
Yeah.
But that's a hard thing to do.
It is. It's just kind of like, you know, you don't like going to school, but you like the benefits of graduating.
Yeah.
So we're in that. We're in the zone now where it's going to cost us some adjustment here.
Absolutely.
The risk is that it doesn't stay where it is. You know, that it actually goes down and does what it's supposed to do in the end run.
All right.
I haven't gotten two economists that agree on this.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so.
Okay, well, on a much lighter note, let's go to the ballpark and have fun.
Okay.
You can find some pretty cute videos online, and here is one of a young boy truly enjoying himself at the ball game. Sometimes the best highlight at a baseball game doesn't happen on the field, it happens in the stands. During a recent matchup between the Seattle Mariners and the Oakland Athletics, the stadium camera found one young fan living his best life. The boy buried his entire face into a bag of popcorn, munching away without a care in the world, and the hilarious scene instantly went viral online. Fans couldn't get enough of his carefree joy. One person summed it up perfectly in his comments. Peak happiness right there. Wow. And he was a Seattle Mariners fan, so he had to be happy. The score was 11-1, the Mariners over the A's.
Really?
So he was happy, all right.
And he had his whole head in that bag of popcorn. Gosh, oh, the poor kid.
That's awesome.
Can you imagine the bellyache the night?
Oh, yeah.
That night?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But that's the nature of popcorn. You know, it's one of those, but you can't eat just one.
You can't. Popcorn, potato chips.
Yeah.
You know, and Oreo cookies. I saw a little sign yesterday. It showed a row of Oreo cookies with the double filling.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what the caption was?
What?
Nice start. All right, take with you the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verse 45. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. That's the gospel in a nutshell right there. All right, be careful out there, hot and dry.
Welcome home to the Dove, a trusted friend, enriching your faith with inspiring content that will change your life forever.
Welcome home to the Dove TV, radio, and the Dove.us.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect.
Clean water is essential to your good health. Ultra Pure Purified Water has been delivering purified, healthy drinking water to the Rogue Valley since 1995. Locally owned and family run, Ultra Pure Purified Water uses a multi-stage process ensuring your delivery of water is 99.8% pure, so your family stays hydrated and healthy. Online at ultrapurewaterinc.com or call 541-734-0828. 541-734-0828.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond, but that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Lizer with Lizer Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Hunters, where the true target is the truth of the gospel. Watch Twin Factor weekends on theDove TV. Encouraging and informative.
And delighted to have with us today Joshua Phillip. He is an award-winning journalist and senior investigative reporter at Epoch Times. He's the host of Crossroads, which is a news and analysis program there on Epoch TV. His works have included breakthrough investigations into the origins of COVID-19 and the Wuhan laboratory there in early days of all of that and during the pandemic. He does have a website, theepochtimes.com, and there's a picture of that landing page as well. Joshua, good to see you. How are you, friend?
Yeah, doing well, and no shortage of news these days, huh?
Oh, no. Good to see you. Thanks for your time. We value it greatly. Leaning on your research and know-how, there's this term called the gray zone aggression inside the CCP. What is that?
Yeah, so when people talk about warfare with the Chinese Communist Party, we think about, will they invade Taiwan? We think, okay, what's going on in the South China Sea? Trump just recently asked Japan and Australia, are you ready to go to war with China? But a lot of people who've been watching China for many years, myself included, we talk about warfare in another regard. One of the terms the Chinese Communist Party itself would use is what's called unrestricted warfare. And this includes warfare through economics. It includes drug warfare. It includes culture warfare, what we call soft power. It includes things like even, cyber attacks and other issues. A lot of my work over the years has focused a lot on how the Chinese Communist Party is using very large spy networks in the United States, infiltrating government, influencing business, influencing the media, and essentially trying to take over what they call the civil society, which they believe is a way of conquering another country without having to invade them.
Okay, this is fascinating. They've been pretty successful in that. In fact, they probably have infiltrated us at that level far greater than we know, right?
Oh, it's terrifying. So in my own work as an investigative reporter, I've been with Epoch Times since 2006. But I've been an investigative journalist since 2008. And a lot of my work began because I accidentally uncovered one of the largest Chinese spy networks in the United States, that being the United Front Work Department. They had agents even openly out in New York City. I got access to even some of their groups. I mean, they pushed me out, of course, but it was shocking. You have organizations with literally thousands of members, and what they do is they try to invite politicians on trips to China. They'll do trips for journalists. They'll have influence campaigns for business leaders. And I think we've all seen some of the surface elements of this. How many politicians have we seen where, they weren't working for China, but it turned out they had an aide or an advisor who was a Chinese spy? In New York City, the mayor, had this problem for a while. The governor had this problem for a while. One of the main advisors. You had individuals, of course, close to several major politicians who were trying to cancel things like, okay, don't talk about Taiwan. Don't talk about human rights in China. Don't talk about this or that. We can look at Hollywood, and we can all see it on the surface. They have to co-produce films with China, the Chinese Communist Party. They cannot show things like the U.S. military in a positive light. They can't show the Chinese military in a negative light. They have all kinds of requirements for it. I mean, maybe Hollywood wasn't too patriotic even without CCP influence, but we can definitely see it. We can see it in the NBA, where if a basketball player like Enes Kanter Freedom writes a message against current-day slavery in China on his shoe, he gets canceled, while you have people kneeling on the court protesting the United States for, slavery 150 years ago. And so how does that even work? You can't talk about current slavery, but you're allowed to criticize the United States for historical slavery. All of this, of course, ties into the Chinese Communist Party's strings it's pulling within our systems. And, we can go quite a bit into what they're trying to do with this.
We're going to run out of time. I'll get you back on that. But I do have a question. Why hasn't the United States created its own cultural warfare department?
We've tried. In all honesty, we're not very good at it. Okay, let's put it this way. During the Cold War, we had Radio Free Asia, we had Radio Free Europe. I know a lot of people, Chinese expats, people who, escaped the Soviet Union, who said that Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Asia, they were their lifeline. They were the hope they had. They were the voice of America, right? And look at what it's become now. I would argue that American state media is probably more anti-America than some of the independent media. Right. We don't do soft power very well. And, you, of course, have Carrie Lake now leading the organization that is kind of in charge of American state media. And she's been uncovering terrifying things, including CCP influence, even telling them not to cover certain issues that would, of course, criticize the CCP of human rights abuses and such, that has been in place even at outlets like Voice of America. I think this needs to get cleaned up, and I do think we need to have more of a celebration of who we are as a country and a messaging on that. Because the messaging for a long time has been we criticize ourselves, we demonize our history, we criticize the founding fathers, and you can't do soft power when you're doing that.
That's powerful. It would appear to me, I realize what you're saying, this is amazing stuff, but their economy is really on the rocks right now.
Oh, yeah.
Is that an issue?
Oh, it's a huge issue. In fact, before COVID-19 hit, people hold it to me sometimes. They say, Josh, weren't you saying the Chinese Communist Party was going to collapse before COVID-19? Yeah, it was going to. Before COVID-19, Trump was in office at that time, his first term in office. He had a trade war going on with China. You had the mass protests in Hong Kong taking place, people going to the streets calling for the Chinese Communist Party to not take over Hong Kong, get pushed out. And then, of course, the protests were even spreading into China. You had a real estate crisis. The economy was going belly up. They were really concerned. Then what happened? Well, the CCP forcibly ended the protests in Hong Kong, disappeared the students, midnight trains, people never to be seen again, ended the agreement they had with the UK, one country, two systems. The world did nothing about it, crushed the protests that were flowing into China. Then COVID-19 hit, and the CCP recommended through the World Health Organization global economic shutdown, and the world followed it. When the entire world shut down their economy, the CCP then declared, we're opening up, we fixed COVID, we defeated it. They used that to lure in foreign investment, and foreign money poured into China and bailed out the CCP. During the interim with that, the entire global economy suffered because of lockdowns, because of economic shutdowns, because of the impact on trade and factories. And I think we're living in the post-COVID world where economies globally are still struggling to get back on track. I mean, if you fly on the airlines, you see what that's like these days. I think that right where we're at right now, they're trying to pull away the factories from China. The trade war is back, and I don't think the CCP is going to survive it. We'll see what Trump does with the trade deal with them, but on the current track, I don't think they're going to survive it.
Okay, and we lived through COVID only to find out that it was created, so to speak, if I can use that term, to bail them out. We get that. You connected the dots. A lot of people didn't believe that. Now we look back and realize just how orchestrated this whole thing was. Their economy is still very, very weak. Their threat to go in for Taiwan is still very much there. So it would seem to me that a trade war could really bring them to their knees.
Oh, absolutely. And this is how they think of war. One way to think about, you asked about gray zone warfare earlier, and it's a big spectrum. They identify about 72 different areas of unconventional war, even just in their service documents. But the way they think about warfare is, what would you want to achieve if you were to go to war? Let's imagine tomorrow they invade Taiwan. Heck, let's say they take over the whole dang world, right? Which is what they want in the long term with the China model. They succeed. Communist Party comes out on top. They're parading. Once everything quiets down, once the trumpets fade, what does it actually mean? Well, what does it mean when you conquer a country? You control the businesses, you control the politicians, you control the media, and you control the businesses. They believe you can do this, control these things without needing to invade. And so they believe they can accomplish the goal of warfare, the goal of conquest, through unconventional means. Influence, bribery, blackmail, you name it. The Belt and Road Initiative. But on that front, too, the United States waging what is an economic war, although we don't talk about it like that on our side of the ocean. What is an economic warfare? A battle for the factories, a battle to claw back what they've bought from us and taken from us. A battle to really try to win back what they've taken through even economic theft and cyber attacks and their hackers. This could make us win this battle without having to fire a shot as well.
Okay, I want to get you back. There's a lot here, because I think one other thing I'm really interested in, I realize the president's doing everything he can through the trade war to bring businesses back, create all the incentives, tariffs, sanctions, all that. But we have got to get our pharmaceutical business back.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we have got to get that back, and I don't hear that on the table. Do you smell that anywhere?
It's going to be a slow road. Just like rare earth minerals, just like, unfortunately, a lot of our manufacturing, a lot of the ingredients we use for pharmaceuticals come from China. We have become deeply dependent on the Chinese regime.
Yeah.
Again, for manufacturing with rare earth minerals, but also for our drugs. Blood thinner you need for surgeries, you need it from China. Penicillin, even, you need it from China. And, we can do it ourselves, but we've allowed them to manufacture it for so long that it's going to take time to build it up again. We need to get our factories back. That's going to take a couple years.
Well, fentanyl being the epidemic that it is, you got to wonder, what's the quality of what stuff we're getting from over there? Can we trust it?
We cannot trust it. Absolutely not. In fact, they even block the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, from doing its job properly. I've heard reports, actually, that FDA goes to investigate something, and they go into the facility, it looks like there's a bunch of actors. You have people, pretending to operate machines but not actually doing anything. It's a very, sterile environment. Oftentimes, they go back afterwards, and they find, an empty building. They bring them places. They put on a big, Truman show for them. And then, if you go try to look again, the whole place is gone. So we don't really have proper oversight on it.
Good. Hey, can we get you back? You're fascinating.
Oh, anytime, yeah.
All right, go to theepochtimes.com. That's the website. There's a picture of the landing page there. Josh, thanks for your time. Fascinating stuff. We'll get you back.
Pleasure. Thank you.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
Big ideas grow.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. Nah. Father and son jewelry, bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn you something old
into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford. They travel across America to give an answer for questions, doubts, and challenges concerning faith.
The Gospels are historically reliable.
Their mission, present truth, faith, and help people find purpose.
Not based on blind faith.
Join them as they strive to make a lasting impact on lives and hearts for Christ.
They're either all wrong or one of them's right. I got to go to the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Don't miss Give Me an Answer, weekdays at 3 on the Dove TV.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Okay, welcome back. We often talk about faith, medicine, science. Can it all get along? Is there a thread through all of this? Well, we are so honored for the first time to have with us Dr. William West. He's a medical doctor, Harvard and Johns Hopkins trained oncologist, and the founder of the West Cancer Center and Research Institute. Dr. West has led groundbreaking work in immunotherapy and stem cell research. He's a lifelong Methodist. He has lectured for decades on the harmony of science and faith, exploring topics from the near-death experience to DNA and human consciousness. So there's a lot going on there. His latest book is called Sacred Science, and there's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen there. He argues that the universe, life, and human awareness reflect a super-intelligent creator. There it is. We'll check it out. Dr. West, thank you, sir. We woke you up, I guess. Sorry about that.
Well, actually, it's 10 o'clock. I've been awake.
Thank you.
My grandkids have given me a gift, so okay. I'm afraid I've got a little funny voice.
No worries. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. So much to talk about, so little time, so we'll have to get you back. But help us understand the scientific method and how clinical trials expand knowledge and why you believe faith is compatible to all this.
Well, good science is a hypothesis that presents itself to be proven false. And those things that stand the test of time, we consider them good science. We don't fully consider them complete. But, we're pretty far along on this science thing, and I think we understand quite a bit. Excuse my voice. I've had a gift from my grandchildren.
Oh, no worries.
And we're pretty far along. We understand quite a bit about how this universe was made. I'll back up a little bit and say, probably 4 or 5 years ago, I read fastest growing group of faith consider themselves nuns, N-O-N-E-S. And I asked, well, where are those nuns going? And the answer was they believe science is their foundation for faith. So then I've been in science all my life, but I thought, well, that's an opportunity for me to go once again and see what science they're saying. And when I spent a little time looking at what we know about the creation of the universe, I realized, bottom line, science is another revelation of God. So the irony that a big group of young people are leaving Scripture to adapt science as their touch hold on the world, they've simply gone to another revelation of God.
So, in order to process that, it would seem to me that you would have to be honest with science and where science is leading you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, because are you concerned that science, and I say this respectfully as a question, that science is being manipulated?
I'm sure it is at multiple levels, but I think it's possible to focus through that and find the genuine people that are sincerely trying to understand God's creation. And my favorite example of that, we would not have a physical universe if it weren't for something called the Higgs field. That's HIGGS. It fills the entire universe. And as those things that would be us, our atoms, for instance, flow through that Higgs field, they take on mass. Without mass, we wouldn't be physical. The universe wouldn't be physical. Mm-hmm. And then I asked, well, how was this Higgs field discovered? Well, Peter Higgs looked at an equation. And he said, if a field existed, if an area of space existed like this equation, it would explain the mystery of mass. So then you ask the question, well, where does that equation spend eternity? And we're back to the concept of God's higher dimension and his library, not just of mathematics, but probably also his library of DNA and protein. So I think we have a system today that shows us how God superintended the creation of this universe, and actually then went on to superintend the creation of life.
Didn't the discovery of DNA really change everything?
You know, we live in a DNA world, mm-hmm. but nobody knows where it came from. Everybody just assumes, well, it's DNA, and we'll sequence the DNA, and we'll understand. But it just showed up. What? Where? From when? You know, Francis Crick, Watson and Crick won the Nobel Prize for DNA, mm-hmm. unraveling the double helix. Just before he died, he said, it couldn't have arisen on planet Earth. It must have flown in from outer space. So it's a tremendous mystery that we all just assume is understood, and it's not. Yeah. We have no idea where DNA came from. To me, it's a miracle.
I want to come back to something you've done a lot of research and work on, and that is cancer. I suppose you and I could talk for hours on this subject, but there's some basic questions. Is cancer, and I guess this would be mixing medical science research on disease and faith, is cancer a result of the fall?
Well, we have to replicate our DNA 1 trillion times a day. Kind of focus on that. Our genome, we have a genome of 3 billion letters in every cell in our body, and we have to reproduce all of that DNA information 1 trillion times a day. So the remarkable thing to me is that it does such a good job. And then we have mechanisms that if it does break, if it becomes abnormal, many, many times it's repaired and the break is identified and fixed. So I'm comfortable with DNA. I'm not comfortable with us taking it for granted as something that just showed up. I mean, it's clearly in God's plan. And in my opinion, divinely superintended. Okay,
so when it comes to disease, let's just kind of zero in on cancer a little bit. In your research, we've seen cancer now, I would call it almost at epidemic, if not pandemic levels. But the question is this poor management of health? Is this an environmental issue? Why is it so prevalent today?
Well, first of all, we're living longer. You know, the 50 years ago, the average life was probably 60. Now it's extended to 70. And we know many, many more people are living in their 80s and their 90s. And cancer, in a certain sense, is a disease of aging. If we're replicating our DNA 1 trillion times a day, it's more likely we make mistakes the older we are. And that's what happens. You know, cancers are more common. Not necessarily, of course, I live in the city of St. Jude's. And there are those cancers that arise in children, and they're very, very different. They're stem cell cancers. They're cancers of newness. But most of the cancers we see in the adult world that I was involved with in treating are cancers of aging and broken DNA. So as we grow older, we pay a price by more of us experiencing a problem with cancer.
How are you as a physician able to deal with all things concerning the body, but then there's this thing called the soul?
Yes, sir.
I don't care how much research you do, you can't really find the soul. It's the part of creation that's amazing.
It's wondrous. And that's why one of my favorite topics is the near-death experience. This feeling that people have of leaving their bodies. And, of course, undergoing a life review. Not all of them do, but 1 in 5 do. And the similarity between those stories. It's not like they got together and said, look, we're going to have a life review, and this is what you say. They have life reviews, and the fascinating thing about them is they see their life in review by how they impacted the other person. Not how they were impacted, but what their words meant to someone else. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's the way Jesus would have it happen. And so I'm a big believer in the near-death experience. And that, to me, says, Wes, we do have a soul. We are, I'm trying to think of the great French man. We are dualistic. We have body and we have soul.
Yeah. Boy, there's so much here. So little time. How do you think that science eventually, or maybe already does, underscore supernatural creation?
The science underscore, well, there's a mantra in science. Don't give God a foot in the door. Ooh. And it sounds terrible, but there's a reason for it, because the minute we say, okay, God did this, then frankly, there's no reason for us to do any further investigation. And God wants us to investigate. He wants us to celebrate. He wants us to see what he's done. And that's why he placed us actually in this perfect spot in the spiral arm of a galaxy where we can send out telescopes and get some idea of how long light has been traveling through this universe. And he wants to be celebrated. And I do celebrate him for that. I think his creation is just beyond belief. I like to just look at the 8 blueprints that built the universe. They're each one super intelligent. They're each one pieces of art. And the mysterious thing to me is how anybody doesn't believe in God. It's the only explanation I can think of for how this universe happened, how this earth happened, how life happened, how DNA happened, and how we're here having this conversation.
I'm going to run out of time here, but let me ask you one quick question. Do you think the science community is becoming more friendly to creation?
I think so.
Intelligent creation.
Well, I care more about whether they believe in Jesus or have a faith. And 60% of scientists are avowed believers. Mm-hmm. Now, when you get to any particular theory of creation, age of the universe, et cetera, there's a wide diversity of opinion. The standard model is we're 15 billion years old. The sun is 5 billion years old. And, human beings have been around about 200,000 years. That's the scientific explanation. Is that the only one? And I certainly wouldn't criticize people who want to find alternative answers to those timelines.
Right. All right, we're going to run out of time here, so let me say, we'll get you back. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out Dr. West's book. I think you'll find it very fascinating, called Sacred Science. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen there. Is that available online, Dr. West?
Yes, sir. It's obviously at Amazon.
Okay. It's called Sacred Science by Dr. William H. West. So check it out. Thank you, Dr. West. I wish I had you for about 3 hours. We'll get you back, friend. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Bulls, bears, and other market beasts. How can you be sure they won't eat your investments alive? I'm Michelle Slate. Lighthouse Financial shines guiding light on retirement, investing, and insurance. As you navigate the stormy seas of investing, Lighthouse stands out as a beacon of hope, offering you wise counsel and biblically responsible investing. Lighthouse Financial. Call us today, 541-494-1034. At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity
to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle,
we would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service,
where we service your vehicle,
but take care of you.
Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you today. I don't want to pray just when I need something or when things aren't going my way. I need you all the time, no matter what is going on, and I just want to say thank you. Even though things aren't perfect, you are, and your plan for me is. Thank you for your grace, for your mercy, for your unconditional love for me. And most of all, thank you for sending your Son Jesus to die for my sins to prove that unconditional love. That even while I was a sinner, he died for me. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Twin Factor is brought to you on the Dove TV by Black Flag Armory. Firearms, gunsmithing, training, and the best prices in Southern Oregon. Twin Factor, weekends on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back. And, well, I tell you what, we talked about this subject a little earlier today on something that's happening right here in the Pacific Northwest, and I'll mention it again here in just a moment. But always a delight and an honor to have with us the Reverend Percy McCray. He himself is a cancer survivor. He's an ordained minister. He's now heads up Percy McCray Ministries. He is formerly with the national director, was the national director of specialized outreach there with the City of Hope. The host of Health and Hope Inspiration podcast. That's also one of his places to connect, Health, Hope, and Inspiration.com. He also has CancerCenter.com, which is one of his reference points, and then Percy McCray Ministries. You can check that website out as well. Pastor, good to see you. How are you, friend?
Hello, my friend. Happy Thursday to you. How you been?
Friday, man. Which Friday?
Friday. Oh, Friday. That's right. Yeah.
You got tomorrow off, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, by the way, PercyMcCrayMinistries.com?
.org.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. All right.
And that's the central location for all things relevant to that you mentioned, the podcast, etc. So no Health, Hope, and Inspiration.com, no CancerCenter.com. All things PercyMcCrayMinistries.org.
Okay, got it. Good to see you. Well, cancer being a big subject, and I just wanted to tell you, we had a story here. We have what they call the Oregon Health and Science University, which is one of the great medical schools in the Pacific Northwest. And they just received a grant, or going to receive a grant from Phil and Penny Knight, as you know. That's a fairly big name with what's going on up here. And they pledged $2 billion to create a cancer research center at the university. It will have its own board of governors, but it will be an entity of OHSU. And so they're, again, looking for ways to fight cancer. My concern, and you and I have talked about this on numerous occasions, we're doing everything we can to fight cancer. I guess we're continuing to do research about cancer, but the numbers suggest it's epidemic. Or am I overstretching?
No, you're not. First of all, I saw that announcement as well. And so congratulations to Phil Knight and his wife and for that pledge, obviously. No, as a matter of fact, I believe a month and a half ago, the numbers just increased from 1.9 to now 2 million people are estimated to be diagnosed with cancer potentially in the next coming year. So the numbers are increasing and going up. But the good news is that the death rate is going down. So though there are more people being diagnosed with cancer, there are far less people who are actually dying from cancer. So when we balance those two numbers out, that gives us something to be encouraged about. But we still need to obviously address this issue and be mindful of this. And that's where my ministry comes into play. And we need to continue to herald this message within the faith community and the local church community. We need to be prepared and equipped to address those numbers because those people are sitting inside of our local congregations.
No question about it. And I think when you get diagnosed with the C word, your whole world changes at that moment, especially when you first hear it and then you qualify it. Even those days can be pretty dramatic, right?
Well, yeah, when I first heard those words, you have cancer, after, some 20 years of supporting and ministering cancer patients at the bedside, it is jarring to hear that. And you have to come to terms with that. And you have to work through the dynamic of what does that mean? How are you going to respond? And what are your next action steps? So absolutely, it is still something that, no one wants to receive that phone call, obviously.
Yeah. All right. Big question, leaning on your years of experience, not only there ministering bedside and even what the Lord's called you to do today. Mm-hmm. I don't want to minimize the shock of cancer, but is there something to be learned here?
Well, this is the epiphany. This is the $60 million question. And again, it would be hard for people, in many cases, sitting outside of the world of cancer or never having stepped through that to kind of wrap their head around this school of thought. But one of the greatest things that has been part of the revelation of what I've learned as a minister and as a human being in supporting cancer patients at the bedside is that by and large, cancer can become a wake-up call for people that then brings them to a place of revelation in terms of there are some things that they can learn about themselves. There are some things that they can learn about their relationship with God. There are things that they can learn about the relationships around them. So one of the greatest things, by and large, most cancer patients have expressed to me is that when they came out on the other side of that process, that they learned some very powerful lessons that changed them, revolutionized their life, and really course corrected the trajectory of how they actually functioned in life as a result of being a cancer patient that they probably would not have actually experienced without that experience.
Is one of those products the value of human life?
Without question, the value of human life, the value of just simply appreciating life as it is. Because, see, we live in America, and I know that on your show, you talk a lot about culture in America, politics, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that I think that we all have to come to terms with, particularly living in the West, the most powerful nation in the world, et cetera, is I think that we tend to take life for granted in America. For anyone who has ever traveled abroad specifically, you get to see that everyone doesn't necessarily have access to the quality of life that we have in America. And so we can become, I think, spoiled and just kind of expecting things to just kind of be a certain way. Cancer basically grabs you by the collar and it shakes you. It makes you take a real good hard look at if today was your last day on planet Earth, or if tomorrow was your last day on planet Earth, because that is the mentality of what happens to people who are told that they have cancer. It makes them think about their mortality. All of a sudden, you don't feel so invincible. You don't feel so entitled. And now you have to kind of get back to some grassroots thinking and some core beliefs of what do I need to value? And human life is on the top of that list, obviously.
What about the meaning of life?
And then there becomes the meaning of life. And this is why one of the core components of what I did for so long inside of a healthcare organization was so important. And I'm so grateful for that organization that gave me a prominent role and place inside of the four walls of medicine and science, is that many people now are starting to question what is the meaning of life. And when you start going down that rabbit hole, then it inevitably takes you to, well, then who is the giver of life? Who is the sustainer of life? What is the purpose of life? Where does life come from? And as you keep going down that rabbit hole, that takes you to the face of who is God? Do I know him? What is my relationship with him? How do I get closer to him? Some of the most ardent atheists and agnostics and even Wiccan witches that I've had the opportunity to minister to really then came confronted with the idea of I really need to dig into who is God? Is there a God? How do I access him? Will you help me? Can you step me through this process? Because they're very vulnerable at that point, and they're seeking and they're open because they're looking for some answers to those very important core questions.
Okay, this opens the door. I know you and I have touched on these many times in various ways, but I want to dig a little deeper, and that is when you are battling cancer and you're heading down this road and you're giving these stages, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they all mean something. I get that. But down in the heart of somebody, they can get defeated. They can feel like they've just been run over by a truck.
Yep.
And yet, their whole relationship with God is now, I don't know, it's in parentheses, I guess. What do you do?
Yeah, well, this is exactly the point of the exercise, I believe, on many levels. Not that God gives cancer, not that God, strikes us with disease, but what the opportunity does present is, now what? What's next? Why me? How come? What do I do? How do I process this? There's a lot that you are exactly right. Is exactly, you feel like you've been run over by a bus and you have no idea who the driver is, and you're trying to really come to your senses. And in doing so, you're now wrestling with those key components. I think that the what next then becomes very, very simple. This is where, again, a person like myself in the vocation inside of a healthcare organization and hospital and cancer facility, as we're coming back, introducing ourselves, saying, we are here to support you. We are here to love you. Is there anything that we can help you step through? And in many cases, they begin to unpack their life, where they've been, where they are, and then, is there a future for me and how do I get there? This is where they begin to open up to you and begin to allow you to kind of help them dig through and sort through. What kind of husband have I been? What kind of father have I been? What kind of human being have I been? Many, many cancer patients begin to hit the replay button on their life because potentially they're nervous about, possibly leaving the earth. What kind of legacy, how people will see me, feel me. In some cases, helping people to rectify torn or broken relationships, how to restore them from a forgiveness perspective. So it opens up opportunity. We become like a therapist, literally, where we can help people step through the dynamics of unaddressed, unanswered issues that they feel are important and that they would like to have someone help them unpack and begin to address. And this is where the introduction of the concept and the construct of God becomes super important, because that becomes the mechanism that we begin to help people walk down a path of restoration, restitution, and then hopefully the idea of potentially revelation around health and wellness and recovery.
All right, this is great stuff. Let me take a quick break. Check out Pastor McCrae's website, PercyMcCraeMinistries.org. There's the picture of the landing page with his smiley face there, PercyMcCraeMinistries.org, and that'll take you everywhere else. We'll be right back.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
He was hired by the previous governor and the current governor. If he was pro-Trump, this would be all over the news.
Are covering their face now because they're being doxxed by the left, and they take pictures of the agents. We talk a lot about AI technology.
Won't be long that Jerry and I can sleep in the show. You're going to see a couple of guys much younger.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
Hey, it's your old car here.
Remember me? Remember us? You barely even turn me on anymore. It's clear you don't need me, but that's perfectly fine, my friend, because you can choose to give this old car new purpose and donate. There are incredible nonprofits out there that accept cars just like me. So call or donate online. Donating a vehicle is easy, the pickup is free, and your gift is tax deductible.
Okay, welcome back. Always a joy to have with us our good friend, Pastor Percy McRae. He's a cancer survivor himself. He's an ordained minister. He now heads up Percy McRae Ministries, formerly National Director of Specialized Outreach with the City of Hope. And he also has a podcast, Health, Hope, and Inspiration. All of this can be checked out at his website, percymcraeministries.org. Pastor, given your calling and your experience and your obedience to that, it appears to me that when you first are brought into a case to work with a cancer person who's been diagnosed with cancer, do you assess them mentally before you begin to figure out which way to go?
1,000%. And of course, when we use the word mental, traditionally we tend to disconnect that from the world and the community of faith, right? And we're getting better at that, thank goodness, as we're now openly talking more about mental health, mental health specialists, therapy, et cetera, et cetera. But I throw this out here to associate with that school of thought of why we start there first. And that is because the Bible is replete, particularly in the New Testament, in talking about our mind being mindful, mindfulness, or thinking. That this mind be in you. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, et cetera, et cetera. And so we cannot disassociate or not understand the connection with our human spirit or our spirituality through the passageway of our mental consciousness and our thinking and our thought processing. And in order for us to really dig in, if you will, or begin to wrap our arms around who people are spiritually, we need to understand who they are psychologically and what has happened to them, what are people's life experiences, their orientation, their background, their culture, where they grew up, et cetera, et cetera. So I call it the 5 steps of salesmanship. Anybody that has operated within the service of being a chaplain or supporting people, just like a car salesman or a furniture salesman, I know that's a bad reputation, but anyone who has successfully ever sold you anything have done 5 core things before they ever got to product placement. They first met you, named what was your name, what's your background, how are you doing, what's going on in your life, what do you do for a living. They've kind of qualified you. They've kind of gotten a sense of who you are. That's getting into the mental and psyche of who a person is. So we always started every evaluation by meet and greet, gain common ground, find out the needs of your customer or the person that you're servicing, and then you begin to dig into what it is that they need and what they want. But until you've done that, first, you've not created any relationship. Jesus was the best at it, right? With the woman at the well. Before he dug into her issues, he first kind of socialized with her and got her to kind of talk about who she was mentally and what had gone on in her life and her issues. And then he applied who he was as the savior of the world, the being water that she would never thirst again, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, we've got to be have some understanding about some of the clinical dynamics of getting to know people mentally, psychologically, before we start digging into who they are spiritually, because we can't be effective on the second level until we first have been effective on the first level.
All right. So given the fact that this is a calling from God to you, yes. Basically, with this all could be summed up that you are operating in spiritual discernment for the person. I know we use the term mental health. But from your perspective as a minister, you are using the giftings of spiritual discernment of that person so you know how to proceed forward, right?
Absolutely. So, so we are receiving that kind of insight if you will, via the Holy Spirit and the giftings of God that is within us, so that we can begin to try to be a bit intuitive to the person that's sitting in front of us and understand who they are. Again, Jesus ministered to everybody very differently based upon who they were. And again, based upon, again, the giftings that was within him or the spirit of truth that operated within him. And the same is true with regard to that type of capacity. One of the things that I've learned that, again, I've got to go in with a clean slate and not have any pre-inscribed idea of what I think that person is based upon how they look or sound or talk or speak. I've got to allow the Spirit of God to give me some insight, and I've got to keep both of my ears open, internally and externally, to hear so I can have some sense of who this person is, that then gives me a roadmap that I can begin to travel down with them, and then we can begin to apply spiritual principles along the way of that conversation.
The reason I bring that up is because when people are diagnosed with cancer, family and friends with all good intentions jump in real quick, and it just adds confusion and it really adds a lot of complications. And then here comes you, and you're trying to spiritually discern everything, including a loving family that's saying too much.
Well, the waters has gotten muddied at that point. Absolutely. Yeah. 100%. And so we've got to come and clean that up, right? We've got to come behind that and dredge through all of that crud and that mud. Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. How do you deal with people who just flat get angry and bitter when they're diagnosed?
Yeah, this is a great question, and we need to be prepared for this because many cancer patients are angry. They are angry and upset. Why me? Why now? I'm a young mother. I have 3 young kids. I just started my career, et cetera, et cetera. So anger can be one of the initial emoted elements of things that is coming out of them. And I tell people all the time, and it's not very spiritual and it's not very hyper, but again, we have to stand there and allow people, I say, to spiritually regurgitate upon us. We've got to stand there and not react or be moved by what may be thrown our way verbally, because people are trying to sort through what they're feeling and trying to make sense of why this is happening to them. And at that time, they really need someone who will just listen to them, to just be there to absorb that all of that they're trying to verbalize and kind of get off of their chest, if you will. And that's why I call it's a type of regurgitation. They're regurgitating stuff that has made them mad and angry and upset. And we need to be able to sit there and kind of hear that. I've had patients say some of the most horrendous things to me, and it had nothing to do with me. I had to understand that they weren't angry at me. I just was the nearest and closest thing to them at the moment that they wanted to be, and I needed to be a sounding board. And so they wanted to get it off their chest.
So isn't that in itself therapeutic?
It's super therapeutic. In many cases, you're not really expected to say anything. There may be the first couple of sessions. I'm thinking of Walter Payton, who I had the privilege of ministering to about a month before he passed away. And many times I would just sit at his bedside and I would just let him talk. I wouldn't say anything. And he would share with me how angry he was because his body had failed him. And as a pro athlete, he could will his body to do amazing things on the football field, but he couldn't do that during his cancer battle. Well, he didn't really want me to say anything. He just wanted me to sit there and allow him to emote and express himself. And that is a huge type of therapeutic process. And as believers and Christians, we're kind of trained, right? We're going to go in there with our 5 scriptures and our best sermon. And we're going to do 3 points and a close, right?
Yeah, right.
And the patient doesn't want to hear from you under those circumstances. They need you to shut up and be quiet.
How lonely is it to be a cancer patient?
Well, it depends on who your community and who your tribe is. And that's why one of the things of Percy McCray Ministries, why we started this ministry to continue the work that I was doing inside of a local hospital, was to create community and agency. And so, again, that has a lot to do with your local church, it has a lot to do with your family, has a lot to do with your friends. And in many cases, because many of those people are just not equipped, they don't know what to say or do, even though they may be around that person still can feel very much by themselves and very much alone. And so cancer can tend to isolate a person, particularly if they don't have confidence in anyone in their immediate surroundings who can understand them and then engage in them.
You're an inspiration, and you're also personally a delight to me because I've watched God take you and use you, so it's wonderful. Let me just ask you quickly, when are you going to put all this in a manual so faith leaders can have it?
I'm working on that as we speak, my friend. As you know, Percy McCray Ministries officially launched May 1st, and so we've gotten some traction underneath us, and I am now...
Who says, come boldly before the throne of grace that you might receive mercy and find my help in the time of need. If you feel pressed and bombarded with so many problems, you're not sure how you're going to make it through the next month or even the next week, look ahead to Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, who ran with endurance the race God set before him, and he completed it victoriously. And he looks back to us and he says, yes, in this world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world, and so shall you.
Something to think about from the Dove TV.
When you experience fear, your heart forgets to pump blood and you turn white. Isn't that true? So your heart your physical heart, it's connected with your emotions in some respect. Don't tell me your heart is not involved in your emotions. Sure it is. Sir, when you got married, you didn't call your girlfriend your sweethead. You called her your sweetheart, right? Because she was special to you and you had a great desire for her. How do you put on the breastplate of righteousness? Here's just an interesting little thought about where the righteousness is in the armor. It starts with our heart, doesn't it? We need to fall in love with Jesus again. Instead of trying to live better, we need to learn how to love better. We need to fall in love with God again, because that relationship will dictate our conduct. When you learn how to love the Lord through His Word and through prayer and through fellowship and through worship and through interaction and accountability, when you practice the art of holiness, when you take time to be holy and you love God from your heart, it will start to change your life. Please, Lord Jesus, help me never to do anything that will disappoint you or will bring grief and sadness to you. I'm sure I have done it, but my heart is that I understand more than ever before.
If you enjoy the Dove TV, tell a friend or family member. If they can't receive a signal, the Dove streams worldwide on Roku and Apple TV, plus online at thedove.us. Help encourage someone who needs hope. Spread the word about the Dove TV.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun, but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
Get ready, Southern Oregon. The ROC Recovery Center, together with NIC Industries, Southern Oregon Signs, Happy Camper, Nick Alexander Films, My Grace Point, and the Dove is proud to present the 6th Annual Strong and Courageous Recovery Festival. Join us Saturday, September 6th at Harry and David Ballpark for a powerful day of hope, healing, and community. The action starts at 8 a.m. with an 8-team softball tournament featuring local businesses and recovery agencies. And don't miss the return of the fan favorite Guns N' Hoses game, as Medford and Central Point Police face off with local firefighters in the ultimate battle for the badges. Bring the whole family. Starting at 10 a.m., the Kids Carnival Zone opens with pony rides, a petting zoo, face painting, carnival booths, and of course, great food. All proceeds support recovery services at the Rock Recovery Center. For more information, call 541-200-3000 or visit rockrecoverycenter.org.
Folks, the Dove TV is encouraging and informative. Join me for the John Ankerberg Show weekdays at 4 p.m.